The only power I have is that I believe we can do better. Such a great quote. I'm just messing it up. Such a great quote on comic book canon. Tongue-tied on a Friday night. That is right. We are back. Comic book canon time. It is Friday. We are here to talk about comics and everything related to comic books, television shows, movies, etc., etc. We love it. We talk it. We live it. And with me each and every week is my partner in crime, Christopher. How you doing, buddy? What do you got?
Oh, what's up? Oh, we're live? Yeah. Man,
we're live. Sorry, I didn't mean to bother you. I know we're on your time. Your show went over like an hour. No big deal. We had time to prep for the show. Here we are. But we're here to do comic book canon. It's a busy night. We got a great guest. We got Justin from No Good Comics. He's going to be here. He's going to talk about himself, his family, as well as his passion for comic books. We got many audience members here already, 14 concurrents. Really happy about that because we are so appreciative that you guys check us out each and every Friday night. Is that right, Chris?
Absolutely.
That's all we got. But you know what else we have to talk about? We are very appreciative of all of the audience members, even the ones that win and don't even get back to us and try and get their prize. Right? That's right. That is right. We're gonna do this one more week, guys. I don't know what more we can do here. We got to make it more interesting. If this person, Lena Labrie, if you don't respond to us in the next week, Chris and I are gonna have to get creative here and talk about how we can get this prize out to somebody.
Yeah, Jeff. So this is what I'm thinking.
What are you thinking?
This is what I'm thinking. I say what we could do. We'll talk about it after the show.
Okay, go for it.
But I think it'd be cool if we agree on this now because I think the viewers might get excited.
Okay.
What if I can tally up folks in the chat next week and send it over to you during the show?
Done. Let's just do it. That's fine. I don't care. We're trying to get this stuff out. Let's do it.
So once we're wrapping down with the show, we'll announce we'll do a randomizer of everyone or of the folks that were in the chat next week. That way we know that they will be here and we'll be picking somebody that is here, that is present, that's watching, that's being a part of the show.
Yeah, let's do it.
What do you think about that?
Great deal. Done.
Awesome.
Let's say hi to some people because Louis Logix is going to take it. Azores, our good friend Azores Tiger from Spine takes cut. The link is below. Check those guys out. He'll take it. Dan De La Torre each and every week. Thank you so much for your support. Moonlit Comics, a.k.a. Michelle X, I think. Happy for you to be here. Dale MacNode, thank you so much for being here as well. Let's just see. Bradley, how are you, buddy? All right, let's just get into it, guys. We got a lot to talk about. Another great guest, and you're fresh from the comics. You guys did not disappoint again this week. So much so that we're going to cut down our fresh gets to focus more on your fresh gets. So here we go, Chris. Chris is starting the night off with the news, with some breaking news. This is super exciting. Chris, take it away.
Super exciting. My second favorite superhero of all time is getting a 4th film installment. That's right. Breaking news as of today, this afternoon. Captain America 4 has been officially announced to be put in works at Marvel Studios. So yeah, like I said, just a few hours ago, Hollywood Reporter broke the news that the Falcon and Winter Soldier writer Malcolm Spellman will return to write the 4th installment of Captain America film franchise for Marvel Studios. So guess what? We're going to leave it at that. So take in what you can from that. Falcon and Winter Soldier show writer is heading this film, so you could probably connect some dots. Are we going to see some of the characters that have been showing up in the Falcon and Winter Soldier? Who do we got? Jeff, John Walker.
Zemo. Don't call her Val. Sharon Carter.
Yeah.
Are we going to see these people in Captain America 4? Who knows? Time will tell, but I am super happy that this is moving forward. And obviously they couldn't say anything Yeah, they couldn't make this announcement until the series, kind of capped off with the finale, which is excellent. If you guys haven't seen it, again, the only power I have is that I believe we can do better. Outstanding last episode. Outstanding. So we're going to leave it with that, but this is good news, guys. Again, Marvel, the MCU continues to keep their universe moving forward. This is what we're talking about, moving it forward. Development, characters develop. Certain incidents develop. Their world is developing. DCEU, you gotta develop and move the needle. So we're leaving it there. We're not bashing DC tonight, are we, Chris? Okay.
Oh, man. Oh, no, I'm just kidding. Of course not.
But here we go, because there's even more Marvel news, and this could be. I mean, because it's going to be coming up soon, and that's why it's even more exciting. But guys, Shang-Chi. Yep. That amazing trailer. Not only the trailer, they released our first look poster of Shang-Chi in costume. I'm super psyched about this. I don't know what you guys all think. I mean, I'm not a huge Shang-Chi fan. I never really read much about him. He appeared, from growing up, when I was reading growing up, he appeared in a few issues here and there. But man, this trailer looks absolutely outstanding. And you know what we're going to do now, Chris?
Want to go grab some popcorn?
Get your popcorn. We're going to watch it.
I gave you 10 years to live your life. Now you see me rise. And where did that get you? You walked in my shadow. I trained you. The most dangerous people in the world couldn't kill you. Son, it's time for you to take your place by my side. You better watch out, 'cause it's my time. It's all mine. That's not going to happen. Outrun who you really are.
Who are you? We make a good team.
Yo, outstanding. Like, I'm going to go to this comment right here from P. Keel. I get Iron Man 1 vibes from Shang-Chi. I mean, it's a good point because they had the 10 rings. They had the 10 rings in the first MCU movie, and now it's going to pay off finally with, I mean, I'm excited about this. I mean, this is another corner of the Marvel Universe. Martial arts incorporated into this kind of epic-looking film that probably spans many centuries. I'm psyched. Chris, how you feeling?
Yeah, that's the fourth time I watched the trailer, and I was still excited watching it. I think just from this trailer, it encapsulates so many different elements of what Marvel's been good at. You can watch that trailer, and you get, you could get like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon vibes. You get some more of that modern martial art, like Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan vibe. But then you get the mystical Marvel universe, and then you get what Marvel does best to it, adding a little bit of that fun humor. You got that with the bus driver there at the end, like, we make a good team, and adding that in, and that those things are going to show up in Marvel movies. So once again, from this trailer, I really think that Marvel is setting the tone to say, look, we know what we do well, and all those things are going to be in here, but then we can also branch out and incorporate all these other things and just make an awesome movie. Call it formulaic, call it whatever you want. I don't care, because it works, and I guarantee that this film is going to work just like all the ones that came before it.
Yeah, I mean, you can call these superhero movies formulaic, but for me, I can only speak for myself right now. I feel like I can speak for you, Chris. I feel like I can speak for Justin from No Good Comics, that I'm not sick of this formula. Right? Is it fair that I put words in your mouth?
Yeah, shove those words. Keep them coming. Because
exactly. So
I
again,
agree.
super excited. Again, it feels like the universe is expanding. And by the way, that bus driver is Aquafina. She is hilarious. She was Sisu in Raya and the Last Dragon.
Okay.
The reason I know that is my daughter watched. She's proud. She's watched it 8 times already. She's also doing a lot of other things. She's a really talented actress and really, really funny. But people are saying that there could be more to her character than meets the eye.
Yeah.
So keep an eye on that. But you know what else we keep an eye on, Chris? We keep an eye on the DCEU, because The Flash has actually started filming this week.
Yep.
They have started filming, and that is exciting because, again, we believe in these characters, Chris. We love these characters. We just want to see them with the we want to see them in a production with the respect that they deserve. And the executives at DC and Warner Brothers have not proven that they actually respect these characters. Because if they did, they would put people in charge that can actually deliver. And who knows? Maybe the Flash will be up there as one of the better DCEU films. But I'll tell you what, it's pretty interesting. I have to say it's interesting to see what they're going to be doing here, because Machete, the director, confirmed the start of principal photography by posting the official logo of the highly anticipated project, accompanied by a bit of flashy music. Now, here's another video we're going to check out, guys. Check it out. I found it interesting. I'm psyched. Not bad. I'm excited. You know, it doesn't do too much for me, but I'm excited that something's happening here. Machete, he's mentioned a lot of things. He's revealed a lot of things on Instagram, including the casting of Supergirl. So that's a big deal. Supergirl is going to be debuted in this film. Chris, it looked like you had a thought you wanted to say.
Did you notice that it was all yellow lightning?
Yes, and not the blue lightning.
Not the blue. Yeah,
like we could see right here. Yeah, so they're going with yellow, and I guess there will be an explanation. Maybe he'll tap into more in the Speed Force. We'll see. But also, guys, it's finally been confirmed, because this hasn't been the case, but it's finally been confirmed that Michael Keaton will reprise his role as Bruce Wayne, a.k.a. Batman. He will also be joined by Ben Affleck, who, as you know, played Batman as well. So a lot is going on here, and as you all may remember from Fandom last year, DC Fandom, they revealed some concept art with the 1989 Batman, the Michael Keaton version here, and Flash's new suit. So again, there's a lot going on. It's going to be interesting seeing what happens. I'm not going to be like, I am so pumped like we saw with Captain America 4, we saw with Shang-Chi. I'm excited that they're starting filming. I hope this turns out to be an excellent project and moves the DCEU forward. Could it be kind of like a reboot of the DCEU? Because they will be adapting to an extent the Flashpoint storyline. Chris, your thoughts before we move on to the next story.
Yeah, I think at this point for me, you know, like you said, I mean, I don't put much energy or even thought into the DC stuff at this point. I just, okay, cool, and I look forward to it, but it's that simple, because I'm not going to set myself up to be disappointed. I honestly, I think the biggest excitement over this for me is Michael Keaton, because that was my Batman growing up, and that's the one thing that it really has me like, I can't wait to see this movie. Everything else is what it is. I'm going to sit like we always do and remain optimistic for DC. But right now, basically what's going on in my head is I can't wait to see Michael Keaton, hopefully in a bat suit again.
It's going to be all, I mean, it's intriguing. I think we're both cautiously optimistic, as well as the audience here. We say this week after week. DCEU does not have a good track record because they don't have leaders in place that can lead. So until we start seeing differently, I'm going to continue saying that. Chris, I'm going to speak for you again. You're going to continue saying that. I'm going to speak for No Good Comics, a.k.a. Justin. He probably feels the same way. We can ask him when he comes in for his interview. Guys, remember, it's not guaranteed that he'll be a guest co-host. Any of these guests are going to be guests. They have to pass their interviews, so we'll see about that. So anyways, a lot of pressure on Justin. But moving on, Chris. Moving on, we're back. We're gonna go back and talk about more Marvel news. Let's just do it. Go for it.
We are more Marvel news, and it's Spidey news because Disney has locked in a deal with Sony to bring Spidey films to Disney Plus. This just, in my humble opinion, continues to solidify the healthy relationship that we are seeing with Marvel Studios and Sony when it comes to their Spider-Man properties, because Disney has signed a multi-year deal with Sony that will bring Spider-Man and other Marvel properties to the Disney Plus streaming service. The deal starts with Sony's film slate for the 2022 year and covers all releases until the end of 2026. Sony still has a streaming deal with Netflix. That's all right, because that just means the properties will first be available on Netflix, usually 9 months after their theatrical run is over. And once that airtime expires, they will then move over to the Disney Plus platform. But the deal will also include, obviously, Disney-held properties, Sony-held properties, including TV shows and films that will be streamlined across all of Disney's streaming services and platforms, which includes Hulu, ABC, Freeform, FX. So a lot of positive news here again. And I go back to where we were at, about a year and a half ago now, when, there was that the deal was off the table and everyone was in the media was going crazy. Tom Holland's done. And I sat there then and said, guys, don't even worry. Nothing like that's going to happen. Watch. And it just is just, I get why Sony doesn't want to sell, but they don't need to. They can continue to make contracts like this to where everyone is happy.
It's a lucrative deal for all. I love what Azores Tiger has said. I hope we see Sylph. Yep. I like that character. She's, a new character. I like that concept. So Azores Tiger, good call on that. Let's just hope for that. But this is good news. Granted, it is 2022. I really want to be watching all 2 movies on my Disney Plus before the third one comes out. But I can't complain. You can't complain. This is a very fruitful relationship between Sony and Marvel. And let's just, they'll just continue on. They are going to make a boatload of money, all of them. So anyways, moving on, Chris, because we have some more MCU news. That's right. Y'all know that we have a Secret Wars show coming out. And my goodness, this cast is continuing to grow and continuing to impress, because just this week it was announced that Emilia Clarke, you know her from Game of Thrones. You know her from that Terminator movie that was terrible. She's a great actress. She is a great actress. She has been cast in Secret Invasion for an unknown role. And that is exciting because, Chris, this is a high-caliber actress right here that joins a high-caliber cast, because check out this cast. That's right. You got Sam Jackson coming back as Nick Fury. You got Ben Mendelsohn coming back, sipping on the soda as a scroll there, Talos. You got, obviously, Emilia Clarke. You also have Academy Award winner Olivia Colman. That's right, Academy Award-winning Olivia Colman. And Kingsley Ben-Adir, this dude, I don't know if you guys saw One Night in Miami on Prime, but he played Malcolm X, and he brought it. He is outstanding. I do believe he's playing a villain role. I'm excited to see what he's going to be doing, because they're just setting up so much stuff in the MCU. The only thing I am worried about is not being able to keep up with everything. I mean, your thoughts, Chris?
Yeah, man. Khaleesi all the way. I'm Team Khaleesi. So I love it. I loved her in Solo. You and I, Jeff, both talk about how, we think Solo gets a bad rap. She did a great job. Hope to see her in the Star Wars franchise in the future as well. I think this is great. And I'm all for this, where we're seeing characters or actors and actors between Star Wars.
I just cut you off. Sorry, man.
Oh, I was just saying that. Where'd you hear me talk about Solo?
Yeah.
The great job she did Solo. And look, Star Wars actors and actresses hopping over to Marvel hopping over to Star Wars. Hey, let's keep that happening, man. I think it's fun. There's been great talent on both sides. So to bring her over. They're breaking Queen.
That's good. Arizona.
Oh my gosh, I lost my train of thought. Planet Arizona.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm just thinking, who is she gonna play? Who can she play? There's so many.
There's so I mean, we can't even go there. But here's the thing with this is what I forgot to mention again. With these cast members, obviously comes a whole bunch of characters that I most likely we're going to be seeing from the comics. And this is what Kevin Feige had to say. Well, there were more characters in the Secret Invasion comic series than there were in Endgame. So no, in terms of if they're going to adapt this as close to the comic book as possible. It's not that, but it is very much is a showcase for Sam Jackson and Ben Mendelsohn and tapping into the paranoia elements of the Secret Invasion comic series that was great with the twists and turns that it took. So that's certainly our focus more than can we cram in more characters than Endgame, like publishing. And, you know, as a lot of you know from reading Secret Wars, if you have read Secret Wars, it was a multi-book spanning event, a multi-Marvel event. It was a huge event that spanned across their whole line of books, and it affected almost every character within the MCU or the Marvel universe. So it's not going to be that; it'll be more kind of drawn in. But he does say twists and turns. So could other characters from the past have been Skrulls this whole time? You know, those kinds of things. People are like, "Oh, Tony Stark's got to be alive because that could have been a Skrull," or you know, those kinds of crazy theories are starting to pop up, and it's going to be fun. It's a little crazy, but it will be fun. I'm excited about this. I'm very, very excited about this series, as you all should be too. Sometimes I wait for Chris to say something because he's very poignant and he has a lot to say, and sometimes he just surprises me. But I know he is excited about this. And let me tell you something.
To be quite honest, I'm so into ever since Planet Arizona caught me off guard and took my attention away. I've just been watching the chat. I was waiting for the chat to reply to what you were saying, but I forgot that, you know, they don't have mics and can't chime in.
No, they can't. Bearded One, absolute. I think Chris and I both agree with this. Solo is absolutely underappreciated. It was a very good movie. Yeah. I enjoyed it thoroughly. But anyway, that's our news for the week. And that's an exciting amount of news. Captain America 4, Secret Invasion cast. The Flash started filming. I mean, come on. And Spider-Man's going to be coming to Disney+. That's good news week, guys. But you know what else is good? I'll tell you what else is good. No Good Comics. That's right. That's his name is No Good Comics. Justin from No Good Comics will be joining us today. Let me tell you a bit about our guest here, Justin. Is all about the comic book content. You know, he's got shows such as Comic Relief, Omni X-Men Show, Comic Collector Origin, really fascinating, kind of something that he just focuses on the community. He also dishes out a ton of content on collecting, investing, and reading. Let's all welcome Justin here to the Canon. Justin, how are you, buddy? Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, welcome, guys. Appreciate it.
Are you excited about Secret Invasion?
Am I excited? Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Okay. Are you excited about that Shang-Chi trailer?
Oh yeah, big time.
Are you excited about Captain America 4?
Oh yeah. Yep.
See, I spoke for you. I was assuming that you would be. Now,
thumbs up.
Are you excited about the Flash movie that it started filming this week?
Yeah, I'll check it out.
Lukewarm like the rest of us, or cautiously optimistic. I can't tell either way. But we're happy to have you here. Now, you are trying out as a guest co-host tonight. You have to pass your interview. We do this with everybody. Everybody's probably sick of this joke because, of course, we'll keep you on. You're here. You may as well stay. But that being said, let's just get it started, man. And, you have a show called Comic Collector Origin, and this is just the perfect segue. How about your collector's origin? Now, before you answer this, we all have to understand that Justin's father here, Greg Larocque, he's an artist that used to draw for Marvel and DC in the early 80s. We'll get to his work in a little bit, but I assume that Justin would be, that's how he got into comics or collecting because of his father. You may have a different story. Justin, take it away. What is your collector origin story? I'm stealing your show here.
Yeah, no, I love it. And thanks again for having me on, guys.
Absolutely.
For me, it's funny because I know you asked me before, like, can I assume that, you got into comics based on your connection with your dad and everything? And the answer is no. And not only is it no, it's actually completely opposite. Because my dad was in the industry growing up, I looked at it as the family business. I looked at it as like, he's busy, he's away from family, he's doing his thing, so that's not good. And when he can come back to us, that's better, right? So as I like started to get older, I just didn't care for it. I didn't want anything to do with it. I kind of pushed it away because of the fact that it was like the business. And then the other thing is, I, as a kid, hated reading. So if you told me I had to read, I thought I was being punished. So I didn't look at reading as anything fun. So that's it. I didn't get into comics until a little less than 3 years ago, like on my own terms.
What?
Yeah, I'm like a baby.
And now you're dishing out like you've been doing this for decades. That is incredible. That is absolutely incredible. But Justin did not tell us this story, so that's a really fascinating take, I guess.
Yeah.
My father was a chemical engineer, and it was cool to go down to the plant and see his computers and stuff, but that was about it. Like I didn't really want to get into the family business either. So as much as I was appreciative of what it gave us in terms of growing up, my brother and I and the family. So that's incredible. But before we get moving, that's what got you into comics though? Like what was it like 3 years ago?
So it was actually my old boss. He was leaving the company that I was working with at the time, and he ended up. It was kind of like a goodbye. His last day of work. He's like, "You want to go out and grab pizza after lunch?" And I was like, "Sure." So we go grab pizza, and then turns out there was a local comic shop right around the corner that he knew about that I've never been to. And he asked me, "You want to just swing by there?" Like I've been a fan of like the films and the movies and the TV shows and stuff growing up in the 90s, X-Men, stuff like that. I just never like got into the comic book stuff until that day. And we walked in, he was like, he went around, picked up a couple books. I was just staring at stuff, looking around. I think like Infinity Wars just came out at that time. And we were about to leave and he was checking out, and he looks at me and he's like, "Dude, where are you going? What are you doing?" I'm like, "What? I'm just waiting for you." He's like, No, you can't come into a comic book shop and not buy something. He's like, "You got to support the local shop here, man." I'm like, "Oh, all right. Yeah." So I like went back to the wall and I grabbed Infinity Wars because I thought it like tied into the movies somehow. It was Jerry Duggan was writing it. The first issue came out. So I buy this thing, I take it home, and I'm like, "All right, well, I have this. Let me give it a go. I guess I'll read it." And sure enough, like it's a crazy issue and it ends with this massive cliffhanger. And I'm just like, and it's like, "See you next month." And I'm like, "What?" What is that? It's like, I didn't never like put two and two together that this was like a TV show, like how it used to be with like weekly TV shows and stuff. So of course I had to go back. So,
and then it's led to this whole
downhill
area right here. Like, look at you. Like, you are a true collector and fan and your own channel.
Yeah. The channel.
I got to jump in here.
Yeah.
Real quick. I want you to continue to that point, but I got to jump in here and say this again, Justin, you are proof of what I talk about all the time. There are new collectors not only coming into the hobby every day, but falling in love with the hobby every day. And you are living proof. And I just want to say that. And I applaud you.
Yeah. Absolutely. 100%, man. And a lot of it has to do with like, the movies and everything else that's out, the news, based around a lot of this stuff in the industry.
Yeah.
So.
Nobody reads comics, right? Nobody reads the comics.
Right.
So that's incredible too. I mean, that is an absolutely incredible story. So you've only been collecting for less than 5 years, but here you are, you've got your own YouTube channel. So tell us about your YouTube channel. Tell us about a few of the shows that you do, specifically Comic Collector Origin, because you do a lot basically galvanizing this community in a way. And it's really, really fascinating. By the way, follow No Good Comics down below. The link is down below. I'm going to keep saying that for the rest of the show tonight. But tell us a little bit about your channel, why you started this channel, kind of a new collector, and how you just got into it, and the ideas, how they came about.
Yeah, so I was actually an Instagram guy. That's where I started with this. And even when I bought those books, when I went to the store that first time, I was like, I liked the artwork. The covers were cool. As I started going more and more, I wanted to just share that. I had nobody around me that talked comics other than my boss who was leaving the company. And so I was kind of on my own. And I was like, well, I was always a social media guy. I do social media marketing for work personally. So I was like, well, let's start like an Instagram channel and go that route. So I started to do that. And then I discovered this community of people that I would see recognized names, liking my stuff over and over again, commenting, messaging me. I'd have full-on conversations about books I've just read. And that just like turned into a bunch of other stuff. So that was 2.5 years ago. I think it'll be 3 years in August that I started Instagram. And then I didn't start a YouTube channel until last year, or in the middle of the pandemic. And a lot of it was, I mean, we were all in our houses. A lot of my friends already were on YouTube. I was already jumping over there from Instagram, people encouraging me to go check out other things. I was also using it to learn how to do things, how-to videos, galore, trying to figure stuff out. So that to me was a way that I started to get into it from a chat standpoint. I don't know if you know this or not, or if you could tell, but I love to talk, and I love to talk with other people and tell stories. So I feel like I've always been natural with being in front of a camera. So, and I used to do like motivational speaking when I was younger, and public speaking training and stuff like that. So I figured, let me just apply that to something I'm really into right now, and just start doing it, especially because I saw a lot of my friends starting to do more of it. So I created the channel. And then, as you mentioned, Comic Collector Origins, it's all about the community. I try to invite people on one at a time every Saturday, and literally just ask kind of what you guys are asking me: how it got started, how old were you, what was your environment like, who inspired you, what are your goals now, where do you stand with the hobby now, things like that. And I will tell you, and I'm sure you guys can agree and probably have had the same experience, the people I've talked with, I've just made so many amazing connections, so many amazing friends, legitimate friends, that I feel that if I'm ever out in their area and I cross them somewhere, that I can walk up to them, shake their hand, obviously in a safe non-pandemic world, but feel like you're not a stranger, and I love that. So that's what's really been special to me, is not just reading the books. And I'm going to steal this from my friend Magic Lasso, because he said this on my show when I asked him what kind of advice he would give. And he said, the books are great. I encourage people to go explore their books, but the bigger thing is to go out and find a friend to go talk to about the books. And that's what has really inspired me and really wanting to, continue to do what I'm doing. So
love it.
That's incredible, because you do a good job of making those friends. And again, because that's from what my perspective of your channel is that you are kind of putting the community on steroids. You are gathering everybody together. You are making connections, talking to people, and again, with your Omni X-Men show that you do, I believe you're covering omnibuses or specific chapters of those kinds of things. And I just applaud you. I think it's incredible, especially for somebody who's only been in this hobby for just a little bit. By the way, the bearded one, I think you're wonderful in front of the camera, not nervous and awkward. I think he's comparing you to Chris and I. So thank you for the backhanded compliment, or whatever that is, or I don't know. Maybe I'm just too sensitive. I don't know. But again, I think it's incredible. Now, going to your Comic Collector Origins, you do a great job with those interviews. What sticks out to you as your most interesting interview?
So probably about 2 months ago now, I actually interviewed my dad, Greg Larocque, as you mentioned at the beginning of this. And that's the only creator or artist that I've ever had on. Like I said, I try to mainly focus in it, on the community. But even my dad, as someone who is an artist, he tells me stories about the community and people he's met and truly have just become friends with over the time that he's been in the industry. So, but that interview was very special to me. Obviously, it's my dad, but also, as we're talking about, I've only been in this hobby for X amount of years. It's really, really cool and really special to be able to reconnect with my dad. Not that we're disconnected, but to connect on something different altogether. I'm in my 30s now. So, and I got in 29. I was 29 when I got into the comic book stuff. So, first of all, my dad hits me up and he's like, now you're into comics? He's like, where did this all come? He's like, I've been trying to get you, he's like, I drag you to cons. I have you go to all these things. I introduce you to people and like, you just weren't feeling it. And now you just find it on your own. And I'm like, yeah, it's just like, but he's telling me all these stories of like, behind the scenes stuff and, some drama and some cool stuff and people he's met and funny stories, people he's hung out with. So you get a lot of that in that interview that I did with him. And it's cool because these are stories I never heard before. He just wouldn't be the same if he shared them with me when I wasn't into comics the way that I am now. So it's a special thing to be able, kind of that father-son bonding that was able to kind of respark.
That's got to be special, really special for the two of you. By the way, Nerds Being Geeks, killer setup in the background there, Justin. Absolutely. That's got to be special for both of you. Before we go any further with this interview, we just want to share some pictures that you shared with us, actually, which I really find endearing. This is obviously, I guess, your dad at a convention of some sort. Like,
that was about
there.
3 years ago.
We do have a question. I did see in the chat here. Give me a sec. Basically, somebody was asking if you have the same artistic ability, talent that your dad has? I'm going to give you credit, whoever asked, while Justin answers this. Go ahead.
It's completely opposite. So he's all about the artwork. I'm more about the people person and talking and not shutting up that stuff.
Sorry, who asked that question? Can't give you credit because I cannot find it. My bad. Let's just look. Okay, I can't find it, but that's a very good question. Also, we have some stuff because your dad just did a variant for nonstop Spider-Man here.
Yep,
that's a great looking cover.
That's another special thing too, is the fact that I could actually buy that on the racks a month and a half ago or whatever, something that my dad had actually put out. I've never done that before, so
that's got to be so cool. Especially, Chris, I just muted you. Sorry. Go ahead, Chris.
Oh, just saying that's awesome. As an artist, I hear you on that.
That's beautiful. But this one really, I was super impressed by. This is, I guess, a commission here.
Yeah, that was the Atom is on man, I'll admit I'm not a DC guy at all, but forget his name. But yeah, it's Arrow or whatever. But it's a homage to the other cover from Avengers, which he actually did work on that Avengers book that one of this homage cover. So he didn't do the cover, but he did the interior penciling. So this was kind of his homage to that book. That's
so cool. That is obviously, you have Ant-Man and Hawkeye, but this is Green Arrow and Atom. It's freaking it's stunning is what that is. By the way, I just do want to say that was Planet Arizona Comics that did ask that question. Again, good question. And then here, sweet picture of the family right here. I guess at another convention, right?
Yeah, this was Baltimore Comic-Con, right? The year before the pandemic hit. This was like one of the last few ones that I actually was able to go to. And he lives down near the Maryland area, and that's my sister and my brother there. And yeah, that was a great time, a really good time.
Excellent. Yeah, hopefully soon we'll be getting away from this pandemic mess soon and be able to have meetings like that we see with your family right there. This is really cool. We've never had a guest on here whose family member has been in the industry and how it's affected them. And I'm kind of floored because, again, I didn't know the story before you came on here. You kind of wanted to just keep it at that, probably because of the reaction Chris and I would have. I have one more question. I think Chris may have another question too, but I do want to say, ask what excites you most about this community? This not only comic book community, but how it's kind of transformed in the past year with the pandemic and YouTubers like yourself, like Chris and I, just kind of concentrating on this. What excites you the most?
Just knowing that we are going to have even more amazing experiences as the world gets better, as things open up again, down the road, and however long that's going to take. It'll be worth the wait, and being able to, as you mentioned, like the cons and everything else, those are the things I'm looking forward to, because I already have a blast on these YouTube channels, hanging out with people individually, and just, again, getting to know people and really having that experience. So I know it's only going to get better. I can only imagine Comic-Cons when we're all out, and there's going to be like 30 or 40 of us that are going to be like going out to dinner afterwards, and we all know one another, or we're connected with somebody else somehow. So again, I'm big on the community, so I can't wait to just, meet everybody in person and continue to have these fun nights,
Well said, considering you're about like 20 miles away from me, probably. I would love to catch up for a beer. Chris has the final question here. I do believe it's going to be a fun one. Chris, what do you got?
Sure.
Yeah, I just want to say well said on the last point too, because I hear you. I like to look at making the best of bad situations, and I think a lot of us have made the best of this, last year or so, coming into this community through this hobby, getting to meet a lot of people, and hopefully one day too, I'm right there with you that we can, not be in front of a screen and be face to face. So great words there, but I gotta ask you, and we'll keep this fun, keep it quick. Last question. But where do you see Ultimate Fallout 4 in 10 years? That's my
question. Ultimate Fallout 4. So Miles Morales, I certainly see. I guess I'm curious what you mean by, are you talking about value? Are you talking about
value demand? How do you think it's gonna? Are we gonna be gawking over it? Is it going to be popular demand? Are these young kids still going to be loving Miles and going after it? Is it going to hold that value and keep increasing?
I think it's going to be very relevant still 10 years from now, for sure. I am not great on the idea of speculation and doing number crunching and things like that, but I do believe that it's going to be very relevant, and that's it's here to stay. It's not a book that's necessarily going to be found again very cheaply. So, and I am glad that I got my 9.4 for $100 a year and a half ago.
Right. I like that answer coming from someone in your experience being, freshly new to the hobby and whatnot. So it's good to gauge. I think a lot more old heads, take their 30 and 40 years of experience, but it's tough for them to look at that, short term of what's going on in the modern world of things. So I love hearing that from you, man, and I appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah, hell yeah, absolutely. Love the question.
All right, here's the deal. That concludes your interview right now. Whew. Chris and I have to talk to see if you're gonna move on. Chris, what do you think?
Man, this is a tough one. I think we should flip a coin.
I don't have a coin. All right, I say that was an excellent interview. I thought he answered the questions really well, and I think he'd be an asset to continue on with the show.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, fine. Justin, welcome back. You made it. You are a guest co-host on Comic Book Canon. Thank you so much for doing that. All right.
Oh yeah.
Great. By the way, guys, follow No Good Comics. The link is below. Also, hit them up on the old Instagram at No Good Comics right there. No Good Comics. I like to play on words there. And I didn't realize until I would said it out loud.
Yeah.
No Good Comics or No Good. You got to Know Good Comics. I really, really enjoy that.
Yeah, I had to have some fun with that. I actually used to do music when I was younger, and I wanted to create my own record label at one point. So I wanted to do one called No Skill Records, but with the KNOW. Obviously, that never panned out. That didn't really work out. But here I am with No Good Comics, and it's looking all right.
So we're all musicians here then. Yet again, this is another musicians get. Actually, we're gonna have a live show after this. That's just dedicated to music. All right. Prime Time Treasure Hunter, thank you so much for joining us. A few of you also have joined us as well. Really appreciate you guys joining us on a Friday night. We enjoy doing this. We enjoy your company. And we enjoy Justin being here because he is now a guest co-host at Comic Book Canon. The show is as much his as it is ours and yours. So here we go. Speaking of that, though, this is another community building thing. Chris, it's time. Do you know what time it is, Chris? Do you know what time it is? Because it is time for
Fresh from the Comic Shop.
You got it. Fly from the pressing salon. That is right. This is the time where we get to share our books with you. You get to share your books with us. It's super simple. Throughout the week, whatever books you get, whether they be at a local comic book shop, whether they be a mail call, whether they be an AOK, they could be 10 years old, 20 years old, 30 years old, 40 years old. They could be 2 days old. We want to see what you got fresh from the comic shop by tagging us on Instagram at Comic Book Canon. That is right, at Comic Book Canon. But you could also do the old hashtag, which is hashtag FFTCS. Hashtag FFTCS. That's right. We'll leave it up here for a little bit as we go through this fresh from the comic shop. We got to say, we get so much entries from you guys, and it's so humbling. We appreciate it, every entry. We're going to cut down on our books. Instead of 5, we're going to start showing 3 because this segment last week was 45 minutes long, and that is just a long show after a long week and after a long day and trying to just kind of ease into the weekend. So we appreciate you guys more than we appreciate us. Sorry about that, Justin, but we are cutting your books down to 3 instead of 5. You're the first guest that is going to have to encounter that. But since you are the guest, you get to go first and show us your fresh get of the week, your first fresh get of the week. What do we got?
All right, so I'm going to go with and I'm a newer. I mean, I buy a lot of new stuff. Really into the new stuff. So this is a really cool version variant from the new Magic the Gathering book that came out from Boom Studios. It is Liliana Vess. I actually used to play a lot of Magic the Gathering. Tried to go semi-pro at one point. I was so into the game. So I am so excited that Boom has picked this up, and just a beautiful cover here of Liliana. She is essentially this zombie controlling type of planeswalker. Basically all those skulls that you can see down there. She could bring all them to life if she wanted to. Yeah, so beautiful artwork. Artwork is Ig Guara. I don't know if I'm saying that right. This is the 1 in 25 variant that they have here.
That is a beautiful, beautiful cover there. that Magic the Gathering, it's doing well. It's but it's also kind of a niche market too, wouldn't you say?
Big time. Oh yeah, for sure. I don't know how. I really don't know what this means for them to do a comic book about it or not. The story was good, but I don't know if a lot of people can get into it, to be honest, because there's just a lot of. It's a whole world. It's a separate world altogether. So I don't know. We'll see.
Absolutely. I'm just seeing that P. Keel farted. So he says, but here's the thing, P. Keel. I did hit you up on Instagram because we missed your entry last week and I felt really bad about it. I don't know if you sent another one in this week, but if you did, I apologize. I didn't see it. I did hit you up. I wanted to make sure you did, but I'm glad your digestive system works well. Very happy about that. Chris, you're next. What do you got? One of your fresh gets of the week. Oh, actually, no. What
yeah,
do I do, Chris?
Let's do audience.
We got to go to the community.
Yep.
Because here we go. We are going to start with AZ Mailman 211. I believe he's Arizona Comics as well. I love this, man.
Nice.
2019 New York Comic Con photo variant covers to Cobra Kai #1, limited to 500 each. I'm not sure what these are going for. I love this show, guys, and I love these covers even more. This is freaking awesome. I had no idea that these even existed, but that is a great fresh get from AZ Mailman, I think Arizona Comics. Guys, what are your thoughts on Cobra Kai?
It's dope. It's definitely dope. I need to watch the show, man. I have not been watching any of it.
You got to see it. It's an easy watch, too. Easy watch.
I just binged it in like 2 days. When's the next season coming, man? That's what I want to know.
They are confirmed, I think, for 4 and 5. I don't know if they started production on 4 yet. Season 3 was good. I mean, it's just so much. It's so easy to watch. It's just an easy kind of. I don't binge much, but like if I need to sit down for an hour, I can bang out 2 episodes. So, anyways, absolutely. Thank you for sending them in, Planet Arizona Comics, aka AZ Mailman 211. Follow him on the Instagram. We're gonna go to another one of our audience members here. This is good friend Dan De La Torre. He's always bringing the heat each and every week. As he says, here's this week's Fresh from the Comic Shop. 2 books I'm hoping pay off in the upcoming Doctor Strange movie. Strange Tales 148, first appearance of Kalu, and Doctor Strange 174, the first appearance of Satanish. I don't know, man. I don't know. This Doctor Strange 2, Multiverse of Madness, anything can happen.
Yep.
Anything can happen, as we've seen by the casting of Alfred Molina, Jamie Foxx, the rumored casting of Garfield and Maguire. We'll see. That's not confirmed. People are like acting like this is confirmed, but it is going to be interesting because they are absolutely opening the door. Alfred Molina confirmed that he is the Doc Ock from Spider-Man 2, and his story is going to start from where he was kind of sinking in the water. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. I hope that does pay off for you, Dan. Thank you so much for sending those in. Chris, you are up next. What do you got fresh from the comic shop?
All right. This book, I'm going to take it out of the bag because it has a big old sticker in front of it, and I want you guys to see the whole thing. This is a little, book that had no love until recently. Why? 2 words. Monica Rambeau, Captain Marvel, #1. So basically, this is another one. We have the giant size Captain Marvel, which was where did that come out? 80, 88, 89, and that's her first solo title. That one's gotten super hot. I mean, upwards to hundreds of dollars in high grade. This one, not quite that, but this was a few years later. I think it came out in 93. It was another just, one shot, having her as Captain Marvel. Free your mind. And like I said, it's definitely picked up. I don't know fair market value right now, but I was able to find this just for a few bucks. I've seen I seen like a few months ago, I think when the show was going on WandaVision, some were selling for like $20 and $30. So, probably, again, another dollar bin book that just you get a character that has been getting so popular, especially from the, MCU, and the rest is history.
Yeah, that's a good pick up there. And I think we talked about this before. Justin, I don't know if this applies to you.
Yeah.
Excuse me. But growing up, for me, that was my first Captain Marvel. I didn't know any other Captain Marvel. She was like the leader of the Avengers, and I'm psyched to see her having a more prominent role in the MCU. and especially going back and seeing all these books that she was in or that came out, her solo adventures. It's really exciting to see. As we know, she's been Spectrum. She's also been Photon. So we'll see what route they want to go. But those definitely have a play within what they're doing in the MCU. All right, let's see what we got here from more of your fresh gets. We got Disney Funko Family, another awesome mail call. Spider-Man's Spider Shadow #1. Miko Suyan exclusives and the awesome new hero Calico from Sigma Comics. The collection keeps getting bigger.
Wow.
That's a really beautiful cover. And this is the Chip Zdarsky series, right? Where they explore the what if basically Spider-Man becomes Venom.
Yep.
I do believe. So I'm intrigued. I do like Chip Zdarsky's work. I love those covers. That's insane. Disney Funko Family, good job on that. That looks fantastic. And guys, here's another one. This is a good spec pickup right here. If you can still find it. Actually, it's probably beyond the spec because people have already been talking about. But we got Goon Lurker, What You Know About War Machine. That's right. Iron Man 284. Rhodes becomes the new Iron Man by donning the War Machine armor. It's a nice book to have. And I think Tony's in like a coma or something like that. So, again, Rhodey steps in to become Iron Man. But this time he goes in a different direction and actually becomes War Machine. I don't think they officially call him War Machine in this book. I can't remember which book it is that they do. But that is a great pickup, especially with the series. Armor Wars coming out, guys. Another MCU series we can all really be excited about and look out for.
Hell yeah.
All right, guys. My fresh get of the week. Here we go. I love this book. And, you know, I got this late. I think this came out 2 weeks ago, but this cover came out this week. This is Geiger, the glow-in-the-dark variant cover. Oh, and as you can see, you can kind of see it in the reflection where the glow-in-the-dark is. It's a skull.
Yeah.
It's really, really cool.
It's so
I freaking love this. The story was excellent. I'm a huge fan of Gary Frank's artwork. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar. He did Superman Origins back in the day, probably 10 years ago. And his Superman, it looks just like Christopher Reeve. It just blew me away. But I mean, this is I implore you guys. I think this is on the third printing now of the regular issue. I would pick this up, and this is really like this is an impressive piece of work. I really enjoyed reading that. That is my first fresh get of the week. Moving on, guys. What do we have? We have another fresh get. Obviously, we have Gus 420 and X. I do believe he's in the chat here. He's known on YouTube as Comic Toby. Nonstop Spider-Man 1 and 2 with short box. So we got the short box. I have seen those actually in the local comic shops there.
That's cool.
Guys, first of all, as we know, Justin's father did have a variant for the first issue. That second issue cover is outstanding. I don't remember who drew that right there. I remember reading about it. I read the first issue. I was not too into this series, to be honest with you guys. I'm not going to pick up 2, but I really do like that second cover. So that is a nice, fresh get. Comic Toby. Really happy that you sent that in. We really appreciate it. And we have Nerds Being Geeks.
Oh,
whoa.
Follow them on YouTube
buddy.
as well. Look at this, guys. Look at this. This is what he says. I couldn't make it to the comic shop because of snow. That's crazy. So fresh from the comics. So fresh from CBCS. Well played. Fantastic Four 49. Second appearance of Silver Surfer, but first cover appearance, first full appearance of Galactus, and first cover appearance as well for him. Video the full CBCS haul up on the Nerds Being Geeks YouTube channel. Check them out. He just hit 25 subscribers, and we congratulate you on that. So, guys, I do believe we have a link for Nerds Being Geeks down below. We also have a link for Justin, who's up next. No Good Comics, guys. Follow him. But, Justin, what did you get? Your second fresh get of the week. What do you got?
All right, so I'm wearing a Marvel shirt. And I'm a big X-Men fan, big Daredevil fan. I've always been a big Marvel guy for this time that I've really been involved with collecting comics. But this next book, I'm not a DC guy. I showed that before when I couldn't even name Green Arrow. I don't know if you guys are reading Nightwing. This is Tom Taylor that's writing this. Issue 79 that just came out. Guys, 78 is a jumping on point for anybody. I've never read Nightwing before in my life. Issue 78, I've never gotten teary-eyed from a comic book before until I read issue 78. This is the one that follows it, continuing with Tom Taylor. It's a fresh start. Amazing, absolutely amazing read, amazing series. Highly recommend it, and the artwork's incredible too. It's by this guy Redondo, who I'm not as familiar with, but incredible read for sure.
Yo, I'll tell you what, my the comic book shop manager for my local comic book shop, he's like he's hit or miss with his recommendations, and he'll admit that. But he told me about Nightwing 78. That's before there was any heat on it, because that thing shot up because of a bunch of rumors or whatever. But that was an excellent read. And I have that issue you have right there. I have not read it yet, but oh my gosh, I was like, wow, I'm in. I'm all in after reading 78, so I'm psyched to read 79. So that's a nice fresh get right there. Chris, I highly recommend you read that, as well as the audience too. Chris, I know you would absolutely like it.
Yeah, my son reads Nightwing, so my little dude.
I would give that a try. Before we move on to yours, Chris, we are gonna hit up another one. Never Ending Stories Comics. Sorry. Strange Tales number 170, published in 1973, titled Baptism of Fire. This is the second appearance of Brother Voodoo. This is another classic, in my opinion, with Drum fully becoming Brother Voodoo to the full extent in the showdown between him and Dabala, the man who murdered his brother. Guys, Brother Voodoo is an interesting character. As we know, he's involved with the Strange Academy series. He's involved in Doctor Strange lore. I mean, there's a good chance we may see him in Doctor Strange too. So Never Ending Stories Comics, that is a fantastic pickup right there. That is a nice fresh get right there. Who else do we got, Chris? Who else? We have Raw Dog Comics. This is where it began for me. Saturday morning cartoons, Shazam. As you can see, he's got the Super Friends and Shazam right there, but those are kind of like the takeoff of the cartoons from the 70s. I have to say, I was a huge Super Friends fan. Huge. I mean, Spider-Man did it for me, but Super Friends was it. I got so excited on Friday nights to wake up on Saturday to watch these cartoons. So I'm feeling you, Raw Dog Comics. Absolutely, that's a great pickup. Chris, what do you got? Fresh gets of the week. What do you got?
All right, next up, this is a really big spec right now, at least in my book. I hear nobody talking about it. But you know what I do? I do my research and and then I talk about it. And I'll tell you what, I usually talk about things before I even buy them, because it's funny. And I'm kind of getting off subject here, but I got to say this before I show this book off. I do a lot of, top books to invest in, spec books and whatnot, based on movies or whatever the case might be. And it's so funny because I kid you not, guys, I will do my research, make my videos, and then after I make my videos, then I'll go try to get some that I've talked about that I don't have, and I already see, you guys buying them before I can. But this one is one that I, not purposely, but I have not talked about yet. And I went and picked up, but I am going to talk about it now. And this is a sleeper because I think this can absolutely happen. We know Morbius movie is coming out. All right. We know there's a Blade movie coming out. Now, we know Morbius is Sony and Blade is strictly Marvel Studios. But what did we just talk about in the news? Sony and Marvel cuddling up together, spooning on Sunday mornings. And it's just, it's a beautiful relationship right now. So I picked up Fear number 24, the first meetup of Blade and Morbius.
Oh, nice. Nice.
And this is the first Blade appearance outside of Tomb of Dracula.
Never seen that one.
That is nice.
And get this, it is in almost like I could give it it's got a little bit of spine stress, non-color breaking. I can give this a press and it would be close to some form of near mint, right? 9.0, maybe a little more, except for one thing. It came, I don't know if you guys can see this. It came off the press. Oh man, there's here, it came off the press, off-centered. You see that? You see how there's, it's high cut here, low cut here, but then you see the press, the pressing cuts. You see the little ding, ding, ding. That's from the cut when it was cut. So I know that, if you're sending into CGC and whatnot, sometimes when it comes to manufacturing issues like that, they're very lenient on those things. So I would be very interested in pressing this up and maybe sending it off to get graded because it's a high grade looking book.
That is a nice pickup. You're absolutely right. It's common. Like you got Blade coming, you got obviously Morbius is in the can. It's just waiting to be released. So it's going to be interesting to see how much more crossover there will be with the Sony universe there, the Sony Marvel universe. What they call it, the SMU or something like that. I don't even know. It's awful. Anyways, but you know what's not awful are these additional fresh gets here from our audience. We got. This is an interesting one, guys. Red Room Comics sent this in. He says, one of my personal grails from last year. Yeah. The Air Pirates were a group of cartoonists who created 2 issues of an underground comic called Air Pirates Funnies in 1971. Leading to a famous lawsuit by Walt Disney. So what I'm guessing happened here, guys, is that the Air Pirates took the likeness of Mickey Mouse and put him into a story, and it led to a lawsuit. So this is obviously a rare book. Only 2 issues came out. Red Room Comics. I would love to hear more information about this. I guess we could do research because there is such a thing as the internet. But it's more fun coming from you because you are passionate about it since it is one of your grails. That is an interesting get. It's something I'd never heard of before. I'm not sure about you guys as well. But that's a nice, it almost looks golden age, although I think he did say it came from the 70s. Mm-hmm. All right. Moving on here to this next get. This is a nice pickup of a bunch of indie books here from Ryan Demesman. He just tagged us at Fresh from the Comic Shop and at Comic Book Canon, which is supposed to do to get our attention. So we put these up. He didn't say much about it, but he's got some nice ones here. You got, You Promised Me Darkness. You got Geiger. That's one I have. Radiant Black. Stray Dogs is another one that's a hot series. It's kind of it's a crossover, I do believe, from what is Clarice? What is that? The frickin' Hannibal.
Yeah, it's like oh shoot, now I'm
Silence of the Lambs.
Yes, but it stars dogs, is what it is. It's interesting. It's getting a lot of heat, a lot of buzz about
very
that.
Good.
So thanks for sending those in, Ryan Demesman. That's a nice indie pickup. Send us again next week. Comment on these books. We'd love to hear what you think about that. But I'm going to comment on my second fresh get from the week, and that is I picked this up today, guys. There's a lot of talk about when the mutants are coming to the MCU and all that good stuff, and this is just classic book. Barry Windsor Smith, another favorite artist of mine, outstanding. Marvel Comics presents number 73. This is not 72 where it starts, but this is like a 12-issue series of the origin of Wolverine, which they never did up until then. So this is number 73. I got it for $2.
Wow, nice.
It's not in the greatest shape. 72 is going for some money. If you look on cover price, it is going for about over $50. This is again, I found it for $2. Classic Barry Windsor Smith right there.
Dope cover.
And they're talking about maybe adapting some of this stuff from in the MCU of Wolverine. We'll see, but for $2, I was like, I can't. You can't go wrong right there. So that is my fresh get of the week right there. Before we move on, I want to remind you all, Chris, we should remind them about how they can get us their fresh gets. It's super simple.
Yes,
see this hashtag right here? Tag us on Instagram, hashtag FFTCS, or go to our Instagram at Comic Book Canon, follow us, and tag us on there each and every week. We will do our best to get you up there. Most every week we make it, we get everybody up there. I may, miss here and there, which I did to Pete Keel last week, and I apologize. But for the most part, we will. Now, if you have multiple pictures you're sending us, we may not be able to get all of them in. But again, hashtag FFTCS or at Comic Book Canon. All right, moving on. Before we get to you, Justin, we are going to see some audience gets. What do they have here? We have Shadow Rat. He's got some indie books here too, and these I like this. Arrived in the mail today. He says, finally got the Berserker #1 second print Garny foil. Also got the ENIAC #2 and Tankers #1. We had Robert Vendetti, we had Dinesh Shamdasani on consecutive weeks talking about Bad Idea. Those are some great gets right there, guys. Y'all know what happened to ENIAC. Tankers is just as good, too. Really enjoying it. I have ENIAC, too, as well. I have not read that. And Berserker, that print run is massive. Massive. But there are some really, really cool covers there, and those are some great gets for you. Thank you for sending those in. Shadow Rat. One more here before we get to you, Justin. We got good friend of the show, Swaggle House Comics. I love what he says here.
Man.
Why it's so important to go to the LCS on Saturday. Found this little gem for $15. Swaggle House. And we all know this is the first appearance of Val and I can't say her full name because I don't know how to say her full. I don't. It's a long name. Chris, can you say it?
Contessa.
We got Val and Contessa. She doesn't like to be called Val though, based off of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Swaggle House, kudos. All right, Justin, your turn.
Wow.
From the
Allegro.
What do you got?
Jeff, I wanted to ask you, since we're talking about where we're from, do you shop at Royal Collectibles?
That's where I go.
So this next book I got from Royal, it came in, it arrived last week, but
that's awesome.
So
that's literally, I walked there. Mike, the local, he's the manager of the shop, and he's awesome.
I talk with Bob, and he does the live videos every Wednesday. They're the ones that got me. They got me new books. One, because I wasn't going to my LC, I wasn't going anywhere, obviously with the pandemic, so I had to order from somewhere. So they started doing them a year ago, and they just hit a year. It was like 2 weeks ago. They hit a year of doing live streams, and so they did a special where they had all these extra books. I don't know if you caught it. But they do live every Wednesday, and so this book I got from that live stream. But they're great, Bob and the crew.
Yes, they are very excellent. Really good comic shop, really good people to talk with. I literally spend too much time there. I usually go during the day when my daughter's preoccupied with school, and I end up being there for like an hour. Anyways, what did you get from my local comic shop? That's so cool.
So again, I'm a Marvel guy. I swear I am. Although I guess I haven't been reading a lot of Marvel recently. This isn't even indie, which is another thing I've been obsessed with. This is another DC book. Got this from Royal. Nice little first appearance here of Harley Quinn.
What?
Yeah, mid-9s, it's like 9.2, 9.0, and I know they're pretty good with their grading over there at Royal, so I trust them very well. But I've been obsessed recently. I've been reading a lot of Tynan's Batman recently. I'm just loving everything about it. I love the whole Punchline stuff. I'm currently trying to catch up before this whole Miracle Molly thing comes out and things like that. But generally speaking, just falling in love with this, and really, I think I need to get a DC shirt because that seems like the direction I'm going right now.
That is a great pickup. Congratulations on that.
Oh, man, thanks.
Yeah, and Royal Collectibles of Astoria. They also have another bigger store that's not as close by me. I'm the one in Astoria, but man, that is crazy. That's really cool.
Hell yeah.
All right, moving on. That's a great book. That's your third and last book of the week. Again, we're concentrating more on you guys than we are about us. But this is the last one from our audience right here. This is from Vinny Whitlock. Love what he sends in each and every week. Mail call today. He says, Tales to Astonish, number 45. The second appearance of the Wasp and second Egghead appearance in a 5.5 condition. Another double dip book in amazing condition and at an even better price. Very happy, he says. You know, with these characters, guys, the Wasp, she's a mainstay in the MCU. You may as well start looking for these second appearances. That is a smart play. Well played. Oh, we have one more, actually. I'm sorry. We have one more. Well played, Vinny Whitlock. We'll save the other one for after Chris. Chris, what do you got? Your last book of the week, fresh from the comic shop.
All right. Well, I had a couple here, and I was trying to figure out which one to do. I had a nice modern variant. New release variant that I wanted to show out just because I love the cover, but I'm a man of the people, and I decided to pick something simply because it's a fan favorite. Dan, who I do believe is still here in the chat, I went with this. I'm going to pull this one out of the bag. I like pulling the books out of the bag so you guys can see them in all their pure glory. We know Dan is a huge fan of Defenders.
He sure is.
Issue number 3.
Oh,
number 3. Gods. Damn. Yeah, very early copy. Nice, higher grade. Definitely looking like a fine plus to very fine minus copy.
The colors really pop there, man.
Yep.
Yeah, nice and glossy. Gonna give it a press.
Very nice.
That's awesome. That is a nice pickup.
All those early Defenders are good to grab if you can get them.
Yeah, Dan's a little biased here, but he says you win.
That's what's up.
You absolutely win. By the way, just got to say hi to this guy right here who just popped in the chat. Where is he? We all know him. We all love him. His name is Sith Lordly. He's saying hello to to Justin over here.
I was just on his channel Wednesday.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Hanging out. He's a good guy. Really good guy.
Him and Azores Tag, awesome people. Awesome people. All right. You know who else is awesome people? Our audience here. And we are going to get into our final look-see here. Union Josh Comics. I do believe he is based in the UK, but and comic shops apparently just opened up here. This is a nice pickup here. Nice. Got my fresh gets from the comic shop, and I was tagged for first appearance Friday, and I'll throw first issue Friday as well. So here is Captain America 192, the first appearance of Carla Sofen, who becomes Moonstone. A lot of talk of Moonstone these days. This is a really good pickup as well. I love that cover. I'm not sure who's kicking Captain America out of a plane, but he looks out of shape, and Captain America should have whooped his ass. That should not have happened. That's just my opinion. That is just my opinion, guys. I'm sorry. All right, moving on. This is my last fresh get of the week. That was the last audience fresh get of the week. This is what I got. This is an interesting book. Another one that Mikey from Royal Collectibles of Astoria suggested I get. And I saw a lot of buzz online about it too. But you promised me Darkness. This book is not for everybody. I'm going to say that right now. And I'm on the fence. Literally, it is. When I say it's black and white in terms of like, there's no color in there, but it leans more towards lots of ink than not. And at times, the art is mesmerizing in my opinion. At times, it looks like they literally took some pictures, which you see from time to time in a lot of comic books, and just traced over it. The story's out there, man. It's just this first person guy, and he's out of his mind talking about. It's hard for me to explain it. I'm gonna pick up the second issue. It's weird though, but it's definitely not for everybody. I can't recommend this for everybody, but I'm intrigued by it, and the art is just crazy. I'm not gonna pull it out, but I was thinking about it.
Behemoth, right?
I'm not gonna do it. But guys, that's my third fresh get of the week, and that there ends Fresh from the Comic Shop. How do you guys enter Fresh from the Comic Shop? It's easy. We're gonna say it again. Am I right, Chris? Chris, you explain this time. What do you do? What do you do?
Man, first off, you got to hit up your comic shops and grab some awesome books. But we all know that we're all doing that anyways. Then you go to Instagram, you post your picture, and you make sure you hashtag these few. Tag Comic Book Canon. Comic Book Canon right there. Comic Book Canon. 2 N's. And then you hit that little hashtag FFTCS. That's all you got to do.
And it's that easy, guys.
Every week.
We appreciate all you guys sending in your fresh gets each and every week. We love showing those off. Justin, we love showing off your books. But that there, again, ends Fresh from the Comic Shop. Live from the press slot. We'll be back again next week with that segment. But we're here again, guys. We have another fantastic Cosmic Minute. That is right. Tom Tormey from Cosmic Comic History dishes out the comic book goodness, dishes out the comic book history. He is on top of his game, and each and every week he gives us a segment from Cosmic Comic History called Cosmic Minute. Each and every week he delves into some sort of historical aspect that is comic book related. This week, again, he entertains every week. He brings different types, different flavors each and every week, and I'm really enjoying this one based off of in real life locations that are in comic books. Check it out.
Hi, I'm Tom from Cosmic Comic History, and this is your Cosmic Minute. And today we're talking about 5 fictional locations you can visit in the real world. The Avengers Mansion first appeared in 1963's Avengers No. 2 and can be found at 890 Fifth Avenue in Manhattan, New York. That is the real address of the Henry Clay Frick House, a gigantic mansion that takes up over half the block. The Hall of Justice from the Super Friends Hanna-Barbera TV series was inspired by the Union Terminal located in Cincinnati, Ohio. What was an old train station is now a children's museum, a library, theater, and so much more. In the Marvel 616, Peter Parker lives at 20 Ingram Street, located in the Forest Hill section of Queens, New York. Although the home bears no resemblance to its comic book counterpart, it is a real address. In fact, its current residents are the Parkers. Are you looking to visit Lex Luthor's mansion from Smallville, or Xavier's school for gifted youngsters from the X-Men films? How about the interior of the Osborn Estates from the Sam Raimi Spider-Man films, or Oliver Queen's mansion from the Arrow series? If any of those locations are on your bucket list, then you need to go to Hatley Park Castle, located in British Columbia. Dishonorable mention goes to Spider-Man issue 138 for featuring a home located in Far Rockaway on Rockaway Beach Boulevard that was the hideout of the villainous Mindstorm. Mindstorm's home was based on a real house located in Rockaway. The owners of the home were constantly harassed by children looking to get a glimpse of the villainous Mindstorm. Ultimately, Marvel had to issue an apology in Spider-Man issue 149. And those were 5 fictional places you can visit in real life. I'm still Tom from Cosmic Comic History, and that was your Cosmic Minute. Until next time, be well and stay safe.
Doesn't disappoint. I mean, that's incredible. My favorite is the Hall of Justice, the Super Friends. I guess it's in Ohio or whatever. It's so cool.
Hell yeah.
I need to start planning. Now I want to go travel. Now I want to go sightseeing and check these places out.
By the way,
that Mindworm Spider-Man issue. I love that. That's one of the stories that stood out in my mind out of all the Spider-Man books that I've read. I always love that.
Oh,
issue.
Really?
Nice.
The fact that people have been knocking on to
I know, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's great. By the way, Pete Keel says it best. If you smell something stink, it's Tom because he's the shit. He absolutely is. You guys need to follow Tom Tormey at Cosmic Comic History. Every day he dishes this comic book history goodness. Each and every day you will learn something new. Follow him and then watch Comic Book Canon on Fridays to see him talk about it. He's usually in a chat. I'm not sure where he is now. He's a very busy man, and he is very important. We all love and miss him this week. But we'll see him next week because we will have another Cosmic Comic History or Cosmic Minute as well. All right, guys, we are moving on to the next segment. This show is just moving by so quickly. Justin, you are a great co-host. I have my concerns, but you are living up to the title, and we greatly appreciate it because we cannot do this without you. Now, it is time for the top 10 hottest comics of the week based off of cover prices data. That is right. It is based off of data, not speculation, not like throwing things up against the wall, seeing what sticks. This is real data of comic books that have sold in the past week. Their list comes out on a Monday. Our live show is on Friday, and we dissect it, and Chris gives his 3 most interesting picks of the week. That's right, 3. Sometimes it's not 3, though. Is that right, Chris?
It is this week.
It is this week, though. That is absolutely right. But before Chris gets into it, Justin, if it's okay with you, I'm going to read off the top 10 hottest comics.
Hell yeah, let's do it.
And you know what, guys? I didn't load the top 10, so you're just going to have to see my face read this off. I don't know what I was thinking. Man. Luckily, Chris doesn't have to go to the bathroom because this is usually when he does. I just let out a secret, a comic book canon secret right there, and it's true. Anyways, at number 10, we have Geiger, number 1. Number 9, we have Tankers, number 1. At number 8, we have the Joker, number 1. The Trevor Hairsine 1 in 50. At number 7, we have Lando, number 1. The first appearance of Bounty Hunter Chanath Cha. He's rumored to appear in the new Bounty Hunter series from Marvel. Number 6, we have Berserker, number 1, the 3rd print foil variant. At number 5, we have Captain America, number 25. What could that be related to? Number 4, we have Joker, number 1, the first. This is Joker, number 2. The first appearance of Vengeance, that is Bane's daughter. At number 3, we have Starlight, number 1, the Mark Millar series that is optioned by, I do believe, Netflix. Number 2, we have Strange Tales, number 159. Here it is, guys. This is the full name. This is the one that Swaggle has picked up. First appearance of Contessa Valentina Allegra de Fontaine. Do not call her Val. Number 1, we have Jenny Zero, number 1. This is being recalled because of some sort of error. And nobody can figure it out. Everybody thinks it's a nipple or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows? Anyways, moving on. Chris, it's time for your 3 most interesting picks of the week from that list. Sorry, guys, we didn't have the visual. But, Chris, what are the 3 most interesting picks of that week?
Yeah, very diverse list. I myself picked up that Berserker 3rd print foil. It's nice looking. I love them foil covers. But okay, my 3 picks. So this was a tough one. Like I said, very diverse list. There was a lot of great stuff. But my number 3, I just had to pick Tankers #1. Big shout out to our folks at Bad Idea doing horribly bad things that are just horribly great. And look, we talked about after we brought on Dinesh and Jeff and I have talked about Bad Idea, and we got the backlash after ENIAC #1 and how hot that book got and what it was selling for, and the people were even like buying up the not first prints for crazy amounts of money, and we're like, guys, chill, they're always going to be there. You can go like get one whenever you want, even if it's like 2 years down the line, right? But the big question mark is, can a new company come into this industry and sustain? And boy, did they get off the ground running. And here they are with their next title, Tankers #1, and they are just continuing to get hit after hit here. And I'm saying this right now, they're here to stay. This book, 102% increase from in sales this week from when it came out. A high raw, $56. So not as much demand in terms of that, big shoot up in value like ENIAC #1, but still, I mean, $56 after the first week is still decent, and that's for a raw book. So look, the bottom line for me is looking at Bad Idea and seeing that they are creating content that is going to stay fresh and keep all these other publishers on their toes. I think Bad Idea is here to stay. I'll say it again and again. I am loving what they're doing, and I got to start picking up some of these titles myself. I need to get on the bandwagon, man. I'm all good with the not first prints, though. I just want to read the books.
Dude,
same here.
Justin, I don't know if you picked up some copies.
I've missed out, but I want to get a second print or something just so I can read them.
It's good. Like,
yeah.
I've read ENIAC. I've read Tankers. They are excellent. I have ENIAC #2. I haven't cracked that open. Steve Bradley is right. The paper quality, it will blow you away. It will. And Dinesh was explaining this to us, how they went with a much thicker cover paper quality, like the thickness. I can't remember what caliber he was saying, but it is outstanding. And the stories are what it's all about. ENIAC, I can see that being an excellent film. Tankers would be an outstanding film as well. I implore all you guys to pick them up, read the books. They're very good, and they're hot right now. I agree, Chris. I do not see them going away. Matt asks, can I see the other 9 covers from their list? Funny you should ask, because I uploaded what Chris was talking. Boom, right there.
Oh,
right there. Look at that, Matt. And we have another question here real quick. It's because it's not something that we cover, or Chris isn't covering in his top 3 most interesting picks. But who? Somebody was asking about. By the way, Tankers is my favorite read of 2021.
Nice.
Sith Lordly, yeah, it's very good. I have to say though, yeah, I think it's better than ENIAC as well. They're both really, really good. But there is a question about Lando, the bearded one. Lando 1, is that a key or something? It is. I wouldn't quite say it's a key. However, there's a lot of speculation with bounty hunter Chaneth Cha as having a major part in the Bounty Hunter series that is coming out. That series is about once Boba Fett retrieved Han Solo's body, it was taking him back, I guess, to Boba Fett to get paid, and there was a whole bunch of stuff that happened in between. So I'm psyched to read it. I've already pre-ordered some of those books, and I think you guys should too. Chris, I'm not trying to hijack this segment. This is all you. What's your second hottest book or your second most interesting book of the hottest books of the week?
All right, number two. There was no way I couldn't give love to this book. Again, it's been on the list for a good few weeks now, I do believe. And we just had the last episode in The Falcon and Winter Soldier air today. So I'm not going to say too much, but this is Captain America number 25. We know why it's up here, because this is the first appearance of Sam Wilson as Captain America. And this book, like I said, it's been up here for a couple of weeks. I'm going to guarantee that this book is going to be on this list next week. Mm-hmm. And I'll say one thing without giving anything away about the show. I watched that 6th episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier, and I mean, it was action packed. A lot going on, which, you know, you expect. But I'm telling you, towards the end of that show, man, whew, boy, it got emotional. It got emotional. And I just, that makes me love talking about this book right now. And although I can't really, I want to like let it all out, right? But I can't. It would be so great for me to just talk about this book how I want to talk about it, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to let all you guys that ain't watched the episode yet go watch that. And then we'll probably be talking, we might be talking about this book next week again, to where we can, you know, bring some tissue, you know, because we might be getting deep into it. But this right now, this comic book means a lot more to me than it ever did. And I'm very happy to see it on this list again. It had 175% increase in sales. I think that's going to go up next week. High selling at $9,600.
Damn.
Wow.
That's crazy. That is crazy.
And do you know I own almost this whole run? I'm missing about 4 books. And one of them's this one. I don't have this book. What is it? What is it?
There was a 1 in 15 variant. It was a Hasbro variant. I think I showed that a few weeks in my Fresh from the Comic Shop.
You did.
And those are going for $5. They shot up crazy in price as well. I mean, I'm not sure if the bus left the station, Chris. I have a feeling that things will slow down with these books. I think there's an opportunity for everybody to be able to get them. I can't say any more than that. I don't want to say any more. Justin, what are your thoughts here?
I'm just glad I got Sam Wilson's first official appearance. That was my main thing. I got it last year, right before like things got crazy. That was one of my only books that sent to CGC, and that thing just came back recently for 7.
That's a classic book. And that was even before
7.0.
So okay, mine's probably like more of like a 4.0, but I'm happy with it.
That's a classic book.
They're all it's crazy. It's good that you have it.
That was a huge book before we even saw the Falcon in the MCU.
Yep.
Good on both of you guys for owning that. All right, Chris, here we go. Top 10 hottest comics of the week. Your third most interesting pick from this list will make at least one person watching the show happy. One person.
Well, you know, I mean, guys, you know me. I love a lot of things. I love Spider-Man. Amazing Spider-Man's my grail run. You guys know how I love Adam Warlock. I wish I could talk about Adam Warlock. Infinity Watch #1 every week. I wish we could just ignore the top 10 and I just sit here with my Infinity War #1 and just shove it in your face, right? But I don't do that. I'm a nice guy, so it takes a lot, but I don't do it. But outside of those things, you know what I've been talking about for like the last 2+ years? Strange Tales. And I liked it. How many submissions from our Fresh from the Comic Shop were Strange Tales, man? I got to put #1 as Strange Tales #159 because I've been talking about this run literally for over 2 years. You could go back to my videos on YouTube when I was just casually making videos. I was saying Strange Tales, Strange Tales, Strange Tales. There are so many first appearances, spec books that are this whole run has been overlooked for so long. So what have I been doing? Filling holes, building a run of some Strange Tales that I can get. And I'm not even talking about the early Silver Age ones. There's a lot in the later run, like this issue right here, #159, the first appearance of Contessa Valentina Allegra de Fontaine. Dude, ironically, I don't have this book. So I'm talking to myself here when I'm saying, like, why haven't you been picking up Strange Tales books? I guess I've been picking up the wrong ones. No, I'm just kidding. But it just goes to show that there's so many. There's so many out there. But look at these numbers. 395% increase in sales since we had the cameo from Julia Louis Dreyfus. Is that how you say her last name?
Yes.
Elaine, you know. Check this out, though. A couple weeks ago, you know what a high sale of a CGC 9.6 was going for? How about Justin? I'm gonna bring you in on this.
Yeah.
Give me a rough estimate. This book 2 weeks ago. You don't know that this character is gonna, that this is the first appearance of a contestant, and we don't know that this character is gonna show up in the MCU. We know nothing about that. What do you think this book would go for a couple weeks ago in a CGC 9.6?
And
Just rough estimate.
I mean, I think it's in the hundreds just because it's old. It's older. I don't know, 100, $200 in a 9.6. That is pretty high for an older book like that.
Matt said,
yeah, the 9.6. Yeah, that's
I'll guess 200.
130.
That's what Matt.
You said a couple hundred. Well, it did have, like to your point, Justin, I think we really got to look at 9.6s for Silver Age books like this. Yeah. So it was going for $565.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah.
That was a high sale.
Okay.
So fair market value may have been a little lower, you do that estimate, but high sale, $565. Guess what the high sale was this week in the CGC 9.6? $1,985.
Whoa,
wow. It's crazy.
That's almost 4 times a jump in 1 week.
Oh my God.
Look, now I'm going to talk about this a little bit. I'm talking about this a little bit because, Jeff, we talk about this all the time. I talk about it on my channel. I talk about the market, and there's all these naysayers. Oh, the market's going to crash. These books aren't worth this much. I'm like, if a book sells for that much, it's worth that much. Might not be worth that much tomorrow, but if it sells for that today, it's worth that much.
Yeah.
So you know what? I don't care. I don't care if there's somebody that's, rolling around with money and they're not concerned about paying their rent, paying their car bill, buying groceries. They're good. And all they care about is jumping on this book because they watched last week's episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier. And here comes, maybe they grew up, maybe they're our age and they love Seinfeld and they saw Elaine, like Elaine's in the MCU. First appearance of the Contessa. Wait, gotta retype Contessa Valen. What? Google Contessa Delegra del Hunt. Oh, okay. Straight to Google Key Collector Comic App. Okay, I think I got it. Okay. Strange Tales 159. eBay. Oh man, there's one right there. CGC 9.6. It's got 800 or best offer. 1985. I don't care. And the eBay seller's looking at it like, wait a minute, is that possible? I was only asking 800. I'll take it. So I don't care how this happened. It happened, and some lucky individual got this book for 4 times what it was selling just a week ago. So I hope they're happy. But obviously, all the theatrics, the point I'm trying to make is I really don't know. If somebody just went trigger crazy on their phone. But, I don't know if this price will hold. But I'll say this. I will say this. I'm going to repeat myself. Strange Tales is a Silver Age run that has been undervalued for a very long time. Okay. And I will say this too. Julia Louis Dreyfus, let's say her name right again. She's a solid, she's won Emmys. And she's got clout, man. She's freaking Elaine. And obviously they wouldn't just introduce this character just, for shits and giggles. This character is going to be something in the MCU. And I think that's definitely going to keep eyes on this book. So will this 9.6 value cool off maybe a little bit, after the show goes away and then we don't see the characters maybe for a little bit, sure, ebb and flow. But look, the bottom line is this. This book, again, I say this all the time about thresholds. We're done seeing this book sell for $565 in CGC 9.6. That's all I got to say.
There's more plans for Val in the MCU, no doubt. Swaggle House came up with a good solution here, guys. Just call this character Elaine. Can't go wrong. Can't go wrong.
Yeah.
Well played, Swaggle House. Justin, your thoughts on this final book?
I mean, it's crazy. I'm not interested in it. Obviously, if you can find it for a deal, yes, absolutely go for it. I need to see more though. Sure, it'd be great. I hope that we see more of her. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really tracking anything down like this right now. But like I said, yeah, if you see it for a deal, obviously, hearing these numbers, see if you can grab one, then go for it. But it's kind of where I've been.
I mean, that's exactly what happened, Chris, by the way. Well played. That was all improv, by the way, but that's how it happened. You had just like literally either you're on the West Coast watching it at midnight or you're on the East Coast watching it at 3 a.m. And there's somebody in there going, oh, I gotta get this character. Elaine's playing her. But like, this is what's happening. And Dan De La Torre brought it up well. This major spike in price is not a bubble. There are way too many good people getting into comic collecting for this market to crash. It's alive and healthy. Yep. And agreed. I think more people have been introduced, not only because of the pandemic, but I think more people have been introduced because of all of this content that would have came out with the pandemic or not the pandemic. And like people are interested in seeing these series on Disney Plus. People are interested in these characters. People are interested in the mythology of these characters. People are interested in the history of these characters. And it's just getting people into this hobby that we love. And that is only a good thing. You can't complain. I don't know. I don't really know what's going to happen with the prices. I don't know if it's a bubble or not. Who knows? Especially when things start going back to some sort of normalcy where people are spending more money on going out and things like that. But I mean, just enjoy this. Like, honestly, I think all of us, I can speak for you guys. I say this, I've been saying this all show, but I think this is kind of fun too. Seeing, how much we've invested, not only monetarily into this hobby, but invested emotionally into this hobby as well. And to see these characters finally make it big time and people are interested in that normally wouldn't have been 10, 20 years ago. It's fun for me.
I want to say too, just talking about the market, think of it like this. Wouldn't it be funny? Say, you got a little chunk of money to invest and you go to a stockbroker, a finance expert or whatever. Maybe you're just buying stock yourself, when you're savvy. You buy into some Apple, you buy into some Tesla stock, whatever it is, and you diversify your options. And your stocks are booming, right? You're up one day 50%, you're up 20%, you're up 80% the next day, and your stocks are booming. And imagine you're sitting there with, this handful of stocks, and you're up, you've tripled your money, but you're looking at other stocks that you didn't buy, and they're booming too, and you start crying about it. How would that, man, it's those stocks, it's just a bubble and those stocks are going to be worthless. It's insider trading. Can you imagine it being like that? That's how collectors are with comic books. It's like, look, and I'm not saying every book isn't up right now. I talked about this with every market portfolio, whether it's stocks, you look at the S&P 500, that's a stock index, meaning there's countless different stocks on that index. If the S&P 500 is up, 2.3 points, that doesn't mean every stock is up that day. Some of them may have had losses. You can look at comic books as a stock index, and some of them are going to be up one day and some of them are going to be down. But as an index, the market as a whole is up. So you are most likely going to be owning books that are up. So just stop being mad that you missed out on some and you don't own some and they're up too. Just be happy with what you have. And at the end of the day, to what you were saying, Jeff, there's something much more substantial with comic books than stocks. They're not just a number on a screen.
Yeah.
There's something that we can read and enjoy and enjoy with the art and the love of the characters and the stories and the history and the meanings and the passion and the soul and the heart that is in these things. So come on, man. Like you said, Jeff, just what a great time. Just freaking enjoy it however you can.
I want to add one more thing to how you were describing those books. You could also smell them.
Yep. And smell them. Let's take out this beautiful 20 center. Oh my God.
We're going to end on this note, the hottest comics of the week. With Matt asks, none of my friends collect comics, but they all watch the MCU and love it. And that goes to how these were, these characters were created with love and just kind of appreciation. And it's just, again, it's an exciting time for this hobby that we all love. Actually, Justin, we're going to leave you with the final thoughts on the top 10 hottest comics of the week.
Oh, man. All I have to say is, looking at the list overall, I'm just gonna say Joker was a great read. I would say if you guys have not picked, what were we talking? Oh, you mentioned before, and I'm going off, but you mentioned before about Nightwing 78. You said that there was speculation on it or something to that effect. Is that right? Why is that? I mean, was there a first appearance or something like that?
There was a first appearance of. I'll have to look it up. I can't remember who it is.
Oh, okay.
It's one of the. It's a villain. It's a female villain. She's the daughter of. She's the daughter who killed.
Right.
Dick's parents.
Okay. Oh, okay. Then I was just curious because I don't know. So with a lot of these, like the Joker is the one thing that stood out to me. I love that 1 in 50 that was on the list. This list here, but the story is just great right now. I'm always in the hopes of like, could comics spike because they're just good stories, or does that ever happen? And I was kind of hoping that was what 78 was about. And but I guess you're mentioning a character too. But
no, I think it also is. It took a lot of people by surprise at how good it really was. It was excellent. Right. I was like, it's rare where I'm just like, I'm in. I'm absolutely in. I have maybe 3 or 4 books that I am just all in on.
Right.
But this was one of them, and I think that has a lot to do with it as well. I mean, the second issue, based on cover price, is going for like $20-$25 too. So, by the way, Swaggle House. I love that No Good keeps talking about these DC books, but claims not to be. Good point.
It's so true, man. It's terrible.
He's a double agent.
Very good point. And by the way, you're the guy you replaced, Justin. Drew, what up, everyone? Just checking in. Hope everyone is doing well. That's the guy you replaced.
What's up, Drew?
Big shoes to fill, and you're doing it. Drew, what's up, man?
Got some great stuff.
We miss you. Hopefully, we'll see you again soon. Anyways, that there ends our top 10 hottest comics of the week based off of cover prices data. We'll have a new list next week, and it will be just as interesting. It always is interesting, isn't that right, Chris?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Now here's what we're gonna do, guys. This is what we're gonna do. Let me see if this is good with everybody here. We have just ended all of our segments in the show. It's now Q&A time. But I think it's time. And Justin, you've seen the last episode of Winter Soldier, right?
Yeah.
Talking Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Okay. I think, guys, it's time to talk about this finale today. Am I right, Chris?
Ooh. Oh, I'm ready, man.
So here's the deal. If none of you guys have seen the final episode, we love you. We appreciate you spending time with us. But we think it's best you leave because we're going to spoil it.
I'm leaving.
We're going to spoil it. And to waste time, I wish I had some music. Because I could just show this top 10 list that I didn't have loaded in when I was talking about it. That one, that's the one you're talking about, Justin, that 1 in 50.
Yeah, that's a beautiful cover.
Yeah, absolutely is. And anyways, I'm not sure where Chris went. I think he's still in the room. Oh, I caught him. I don't know what he's doing. He's rifling through his jackets. But if you guys have not seen Captain Falcon and the Winter Soldier, look at those moves by Chris. We ask you to leave. Nerds Being Geeks, thank you so much for joining us. Journal in the bathroom right now with secrets. Anyways, all right. Chris, I don't know what you just did. Oh, I think I know what you did. Go again. But let's start, guys. I'm going to start. I'm going to kick off the conversation here.
Yeah.
I thought there were so many episodes, the 2 or 3. I mean, I thought they were all great, but there were 2 or 3 episodes that were really well balanced. And there's the MCU is taking, how should I say this? In a way, they're taking, because Disney plays it safe all the time, but they're taking risks and standing up for things that we talk about on the show quite a bit, Chris. And that is representation matters, right? That is, we talk about racism, we talk about bigotry, we talk about those things as well. We talk about a lot of that stuff. And I really was happy to see Marvel talk about those things as well, even further into like global politics, with immigration and things like that. It was really kind of I was surprised at how much of a stand that they took on things, especially Sam's speech at the end, where again, I opened the show up with one of the lines that stuck out to me. The only power I have is that I believe we can do better. And that if we all live our lives like that, things will be better in this world. So I was just struck at how they touched upon these issues and did so in an entertaining way that really resonated with me, but also held to the beliefs of these characters we all read. So I'm going to kick it. That's how I'm kicking it off. I'll throw it to one of you guys who wants to jump in right now.
Good, Chris. You're looking ready right now.
Yeah, had to wear the shield, man. To everything you just said, the first thing that comes to my head is me needing to give Anthony Mackie his freaking propers. Anthony Mackie, you know, I remember when Anthony Mackie first showed up in the MCU 7 years ago, you know, or was cast before the movie came out. You know, there was, you know, oh, can Anthony Mackie, you know, play with the Avengers, with the heavy hitters, you know, all the Chris Evans and Chris Hemsworth and RDJ and whatnot. And then he was cast as Tupac in the Biggie movie. And it was horrible. It was horrible. The Biggie movie was actually a decent movie, and I forget the kid's name that played Biggie. He did an amazing job capturing Biggie.
Movie. That was a very good movie.
Yeah, but I'm going to tell you, and I don't mean to sidetrack, but I'm making a point. I said this before, and I say this again. A lot of the audience probably knows how big of what Tupac means to me. And I don't know how many of you know about Tupac, but Tupac, you know, as a musician, as an actor, as an activist, as a human being, this man had a charisma, a voice, and an energy that nobody can match. You look at actors like Denzel Washington playing Malcolm X, Chadwick Boseman playing Jackie, right? Or Thurgood, or James Brown, and just blowing it out of the water, right? Jamie Foxx is Ray Charles, right? Will Smith is Muhammad Ali. I'm getting chills just saying these because every name that I just named was Academy Award worthy for every one of those roles. There is no Denzel or Chadwick or Jamie's or Will Smith's that could have ever filled the shoes of Tupac. That's how strong this man was in his aura, in his energy. And they had Anthony Mackie playing him in that movie, and I wasn't feeling it. And I know all the public's perception of it was bad. And then they got you know, Dominic Shipp that played Tupac in the All Eyes on Me movie, and it was horrible, but it wasn't the actor's fault because he did the best he could. So what I'm trying to say, I said I'm making a point. Anthony Mackie has had a career that has, in my opinion, never gotten the respect it's deserved. And I have loved him from day one as Sam Wilson. From the moment we first saw him. On your left. On your left. Like that whole moment right there and how that movie started. Like, you know, Anthony Mackie has done something with this character that I think is right there with what Chris Evans has done with Captain America, with what Robert Downey Jr. has done with Iron Man. And, well, it's hard to say what Chadwick Boseman has done to Black Panther, but I have to say that because of the commonalities and what Black Panther stands for. So my point is this. Here we are, Sam Wilson, played by Anthony Mackie. He's now in a TV show where he even said himself, I don't want to be responsible for the first MCU. I mean, that's going into this. You know, they're conscious of this. We're doing new things. We're on TV. How is this going to work? This show was filled with action, right? So, and I went into it. Oh, we got Winter Soldier. We got Falcon. We got U.S. Agent. This is Winter Soldier right here. And I'm gonna say it. It wasn't Winter Soldier. It wasn't.
Yeah, you're right.
But the most important thing that stood out to me, because Anthony Mackie and his character Sam Wilson has nothing to do with budget, has nothing to do with effects and editing and cinematography and all that. But what Anthony Mackie can do is portray Sam Wilson and deliver the message that this character is supposed to deserve. And I'm going to tell you one thing. The best moments for me in this show was when Sam Wilson, played by Anthony Mackie, was getting up in his feelings and speaking on it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's that. I know that was long-winded, but that's the point I'm trying to make here. The best moments for me was when Sam was sitting there talking, because he was saying something that was more important to me than any of the action and the kicking and the spinning and the fights and the flying and all that stuff. And those are the moments that I took away from this show. To that quote that you said at the beginning of the show, Jeff, and we're giving away spoilers, right?
Yeah, we've given warnings.
To when he went back at the end of the show and he went back to Isaiah and brought him to the museum, and we see Chris Evans and all that stuff, and then we go around the corner and there's Isaiah's statue, and telling him that now everyone, they will remember, or no one will forget. I forget the exact words, and that got me. I get myself chills again. That got me all emotional, man. But that point right there, where he was making that speech, to all the GSR or GS, whatever it was, the global response, GRS, senators and the politician. And he said that he's like, the only power I have is that I know we got to do better, and and making that speech is like, killed it for me.
Yep.
Justin.
You both are spot on, and yeah, this was a very heavy whole series, very heavy with the topics that they had brought in, obviously with real life, things that are going on in society today, the messaging that was there. I think that for me and my girlfriend, we were bawling towards the end there when they were showing the statue of what's his name I can't think of his name, but that was a powerful scene. Yeah. The one thing I feel like it made me think back to how I felt when I watched Endgame for the first time. Not to say that this was up there with Endgame, as obviously Endgame was amazing and in its own thing. But with some of the, as you're saying, Chris, the chills that you get, I wish that this whole series, I wish I had the opportunity to watch this whole series on a big screen in a theater. I love seeing this stuff in theater. My girlfriend will tell you, she says when we saw Endgame, I was the loudest person when Cap picks up the hammer, and she said I don't believe it. She said I was screaming. I don't remember that. But I again got that feeling when we saw Sam Wilson crash in this episode, right towards the beginning, all decked out in his gear. I got that type of level of excitement there. So between that and then the emotional side, as you're talking about towards the end here, especially, it's just a well-rounded mix of everything, and I am all for anything that can hit the heart the way that this whole series has, and the way it ended was, to me, I think was perfect.
Yeah, I agree. Like, in that speech at the end, literally Sam addressed everything from racism to like what the GRC was trying to do in terms of but it also felt organic. Right? It didn't feel forced. Like he was at a podium with some canned speech. It was just like speaking his mind. And that was again, Anthony Mackie, the best of Anthony Mackie right there. Speaking about the horrors other people have had to deal with. Speaking about, you don't understand from the center. He's like, you don't understand my plight. You don't understand what those people are doing in those settlements either, are dealing with on from a day. So I don't understand what but that's what we have in common. Let's try and figure out the best place to get to where we can be, where we help everybody. I just thought that was really well played. It wasn't too canny, corny, or campy.
Right.
I want to make a point too that let's go beyond, because we know that when race and these issues are brought into film, these films, leave your politics out of and all that. Yeah. But what I want to say is that I thought it was done well to where we could get, we got to, first off, and I've said this a lot before too, we got to stop looking at things as political. And we got to be looking at things more as humanity, You right, and economic. That's the things I talk about all the time. Like a lot of time we label things political when it's really like economics. And what I like with what they did with that, even though Sam Wilson was speaking as a black man and his experience, I like the bigger idea that he basically spoke to their humanity and was able to say that, you know, it wasn't like the writers writing this was having Sam be this individual who said, you guys don't understand either. I'm the one that's been over. He was saying, look, now you understand me. So he was saying that we both can understand now. We all have, there's a core humanity factor where we have to put ourselves in the other people's shoes. And I think that's the biggest takeaway here, because I think in the current state of affairs in the real world right now is we get so defensive on all sides of things that we end up, you know, like nobody else can be the victim. If I'm a victim, you can't be a victim. And then we butt heads. But if we realize that we all have been victimized, but everyone's experience is different, and you have to be empathetic to what somebody else has been through, but you all and be able to put yourself in their shoes and hope that they can do the same for you. And I think that was, you know, they weren't painting out politicians to be bad guys, but they weren't painting out the bad guys to be terrorists. And here comes Sam. And again, you look at, and this is what I always loved about Captain America in the comic books. And this is what I thought Chris Evans did such a great job of embodying. But he was being diplomatic in the purest sense of the word, not in the forced ideological sense of what diplomacy means. You know, if you're an American or if you're this and your tunnel vision, he was being extremely diplomatic. He saw the humanity in all sides of the fight. Yeah. And that was the deeper message to me. So kudos. Hey, not to continue on, but I just Swagos just left a comment that I really enjoyed, and I do want to circle back to that, but I want to, you know, let you folks maybe just
any additional thoughts to that?
One other small bit that I wanted to add on to something that you said, Jeff, was at the end that whole scene, the way that it was, as you pointed out, it wasn't on a podium in front of people in this proper setup. Another angle of what I liked about that, as you really just brought that up, and I'm thinking about it, it seemed to me that it was so comic book like that. It's just, I mean, they didn't bring in Hollywood stuff there. It was just people on the street, and it happened to be kind of captured by people with cameras and cell phones and things like that. And I could just see that in a comic book. And I know it's small, but it's just something I appreciate in that they're still trying to keep it, or I don't know if that was their goal or not, but that to me kind of take as a takeaway is a very comic book like style to be able to have these powerful moments, debating in a street, talking, and it's not this clean, perfect, setting.
Right. Absolutely. Now, from an MCU standpoint, this leaves a lot in question and a lot of interesting things. I love how they set up U.S. Agent. We all knew it was heading this way. Yeah. But he's like, it's the same, but it's black. It looked great. It looks like his modern costume. I was really happy about that. Val is putting something together like the Thunderbolts. We all know that. Something is going on there. She's like, keep your phone on. We have, what else do we have, guys? Zemo is going to come back. Zemo is going to come back in some way, shape, or form. Let's be honest with that. He was one of the brightest things from this series. Like, his portrayal of Zemo was outstanding. And then, guys, there's a new villain in the MCU. Sharon Carter. Like, that kind of just like, you just may as well just kick us in the groin right there. Like, ruining the Carter legacy right there. But I saw an interesting take on it. She could be a Skrull, right? Oh. So that's an interesting take. I saw somebody be like, I bet she's a Skrull. I was like, I like that idea. Anyways, what else? Am I missing something else here that they're setting up?
Well, I just want to point that actually her being a Skrull could be a good setup for Secret Invasion, because she's now planted within the U.S. government.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh, I like that. Okay, I'm going to come back to that. Can we talk about Swagos's comment up here? where he
which
said,
one? I mean, he said you were running to the bathroom. Is that the one you're talking about?
Nope.
This one right here?
Unfortunately not. Yes. Okay. So yeah. You want to read it, Jeff?
Yeah, sure. Overall, I enjoyed Falcon and Winter Soldier, but I had some hang-ups with the show on some technical aspects. I felt the directing and editing was a bit underwhelming, in my honest opinion. But that's me being a film nerd.
Yes, and for those that don't know, Mickey is a solidified director. Working behind the scenes, and he's done great work. And I love hearing him say this because can we talk about some constructive feedback for the show?
Sure.
We've been so gung ho.
It's not all praise.
Talk about some constructive criticism here. So my one thing, and I'm watching it through the series, and I agree with Justin. You said, I wish I could have watched this. Like I would have totally sat. What was this? Episodes were like 50 minutes. So
yeah,
in it, a little over 5 hours or just about 5 hours in a movie theater. I would have gladly sat in a movie theater as long as they had intermissions. We run to the bathroom one time.
Yeah.
Right. I would have gladly sat for 5 hours and watched this as a movie in the flow of it. Like it could have it could have been a seamless. So, right. So I'm watching this and I'm like, what isn't sitting right with me? And it's specifically to this point right here. If I have to critique anything, it's that I felt that I was watching a TV show, which isn't a bad thing, but I'm going to use WandaVision as example. They were purposely taking different era TV shows and wrapping that around the bigger universe. So when you went back to the bigger universe, you felt like you were in the Marvel universe, right? It was almost seamless when they hopped out of the her hex or whatever. It was like boom, MCU movie. The tone, the editing, the cinematography, all of it. I felt like, don't get me wrong, Falcon and Winter Soldier had great moments, but I feel like there were those moments where simply because of the editing and the choppiness and the editing and cinematography, it pulled me out of that even for brief moments. And one other thing, the score. And I think that's on purpose, but this is one thing that was kind of weird to me. I felt like I know that this wasn't Falcon and Winter Soldier, but I was hoping at least like the score, because as musicians here, we probably can understand music drives emotion within storytelling in film. And I felt like at times the score didn't drive the proper emotion. Like the main theme remix between like Law and Order, like dun 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 dun. Kind of me like a Law and Order mixed with like Chicago Hope.
Right.
And no offense to Law and Order and Chicago Hope, I don't want Law and Order and Chicago Hope vibes watching the show, and that's kind of what I got at times, and it kind of threw me off. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, that's fair. And I was curious where else you were going with this, because I definitely feel like I'm really glad you brought this up, because this did stand out to me. Was at the end, the scenes, the happy scenes when they show the families and the everybody back at the boat with Sarah, the sister. I felt like that was a missed opportunity for a more powerful score. The music that they chose for that, I don't know what it was. I don't know if they're trying some new group, or like it sounded like a group, a band or something. It just didn't. I just felt like it, and maybe this might be small, but I just thought there was opportunity to really knock it out of the park, and they missed it. And it was just like an okay song during that moment, because it was such a special, loving, happy moment, and to me, it didn't capture that.
I'm a little biased. I actually really liked the music that they used at the end there. His name is Curtis. Damn it, I cannot find his, because I know that album. I cannot remember his last name. But I thought that was excellent. I thought that was an uplifting song to end on. You may not have been into the uplifting bluesy type music, but I thought it was, again, maybe I'm biased because I'm familiar with that music. I'm familiar with that song. I'm familiar with that album, and I can't remember his last name. But I was like, yes, this is a great choice, because you got that that vibe. Like they were celebrating the boats fixed, the communities together, right? It's about community. This is about helping each other, right? And that's what it was. And I just thought that really struck the right tone right there. As soon as they started with that, just getting that ding, ding.
I don't think it was bad, and if I don't think it was a bad choice, but I just felt like my expectation, I guess, was that I was, I don't know, picturing something more, I guess.
I'm wondering, I'm going to play middle between you guys. I do agree with Jeff because I think it got to the root of, Sam and where he comes from. I think that's what the music was doing there. But maybe, Justin, you kind of felt underwhelmed simply because we didn't have what you were looking for in other places where it should have been. So maybe it correlated into that scene to where, it didn't set right. Like it didn't one thing to the next. So that's me just kind of playing middle ground here, trying to figure it out, because I do agree with Jeff that overall, I think that moment was good, but I definitely, again, overall, there was just so many flat moments in terms of the score that I thought could have been better. And maybe if those were corrected, it could have made that moment more powerful. But I think, going back to editing, man, the show did have its moments though. Like in that first episode, remember where, he jumps out of the plane and he's going through the canyon. And then to this episode, the last episode, when he, like you said, Justin, when he came through in the suit and with the shield and he's Captain America. Wow. Amazing. But then I was underwhelmed for about 2 minutes. Like when he started fighting dude, and that's where I think it was the editing. I think the editing was so choppy. And I was like, I'm like, okay. But then when he leaves that and flies out to go after the helicopter, and then Sharon's up to something, and then we got U.S. agent coming in and Bucky's in the show. Like that's when it started. Then I felt like the cinematography was, this is it. And this is how it should be. So it had its moments, and it showed me though that, and I don't know if maybe had any effect on the final product, but it showed me that they can absolutely bring that level of stuff to Disney Plus in terms of this type of action.
Oh yeah, big time.
Okay,
there was some heavy action there that I was surprised. I was kind of surprised to see on Disney Plus. Some violent.
Definitely.
Episode 3, episode 4.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh man.
Yeah. By the way, Curtis Harding is the artist's name. On and On is the song. Excellent. He's like excellent. But
I'll have to check it out.
Excellent song. Excellent. That album is great. But Swagglehouse Comics, this goes to what you were kind of saying, Chris. Swagglehouse, again, I love to hear you guys talk on the TV show format as a whole. I wonder if it's not the best medium to hit all those emotional beats that we're used to with the MCU. So what we're used to with the MCU before Disney Plus was a complete package, right? A story. 3-story, 3 arc, 3 section, basically, this three-part standard storytelling technique. Yep. What we see with this TV format is creating more of an event, and we absolutely saw an event type series with WandaVision, right? There was so much hype, so much like, what does this mean? Not only with comic book fans, but with mainstream as well. People were sucked into this show. I don't think you saw the event so much with Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and I feel like that could have played better as a movie. And I think what you're talking about, Swagglass, especially with the editing, it's missing the flow because it's not flowing well because you're having to stop and you're already in the flow. Whereas WandaVision created that, that there was very segmented. What was that, 8 episodes, I believe, for WandaVision, or 10? This
9,
is 6.
9.
So 6 is a little bit probably trickier because it's closer to the time of a movie as opposed to, 8 segmented pieces or 9 segmented pieces of the story. So I think I enjoy the event format of this. I don't think it detracted that much from the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I think I was all in. I wasn't distracted by, we're stopping down now for a week. I guess we'll be back next week. I was pumped to see, what would be happening next week. And I thought it flowed very well for me. I thought the series was absolutely outstanding. Some people thought it was boring. I was all about the character development. I was all about seeing Sam and the family getting turned down for a loan. But he's like, oh, but you're the Falcon. Let me get a picture with you. I was all about Bucky dealing with the demons of his past and how to get over that. I was all about that character development that some people, I'm thinking that's what people thought were boring. They wanted to see constant action. And I just, those are the things that moves the needle with the MCU, moves things forward. And I was all about it, and I enjoyed it thoroughly. And I like this format for Disney Plus. And I think the bearded one said, this is a very good point here from the bearded one. Swaghouse, I'm starting to think the MCU is just too big for movies. Television needs to be the next step in properly fleshing things out. And Falcon and the Winter Soldier was a perfect example of fleshing things out.
100%.
I agree. And that allows, I think, the one big thing that people have talked about, the issues with the MCU over the years is like the one and done characters or bad guys, right? These shows allow them to build these universes off of building bad guys, building the adversaries instead of just focusing on the heroes. And I think that's one thing where again, look at the Falcon and Winter Soldier and look what came of it and in the tone. It's not just this one-dimensional. So I said, it's like at the end of the day, nobody was a villain in the show. There's multi-dimensional layers of things going on that can bring so much out of that can create these antagonists that are so much more than a one and done bad guy on a power trip. So that's what another thing that I really liked about this, and I agree. That's why I think taking these things to the shows. Again, let's look at comic books. It's like you can have a story arc like King in Black, and then you have all these titles that are going on around it with other characters playing roles in what's going on in the bigger world. So essentially, the MCU as it is now with all of these formats is more now like comic books in a good way, because you're able to flesh things out like that, So
absolutely, I think that's
I was going to say that is, for me, I think that this is a genius way for Marvel, Disney, Disney Plus to introduce more new characters. And also to test the waters with certain characters. Maybe this is a way they do a thing with X-Men or even just individual, actual mutants, that they can tell a short story, 5 episodes or whatever. And I've said this before, like the idea that, yes, this whole industry is based on books that used to show one little series every week or every month, and you get a new taste of a new story every time. Why wouldn't we? I feel like they have such an opportunity to just continue that, build more shows the way that they have now. I know they're starting out slow and testing things out like you guys are saying. But I think it's a huge opportunity for them. And I think DC needs to jump on. I know DC's done stuff of their own. I haven't really followed it, but to do more of that. The other thing though, too, is I think it helps string out the hype. So people are constantly talking for WandaVision was extended. I mean, it's almost 2 months. People were if you just put it all out in one shot, it's not necessary. And if it's not, the best, it's not going to hold its, everybody's just talking, it just kept everybody talking. So I think that's important.
100%. And we're going to leave this conversation on what Planet Arizona Comics does. But before we do, Jeff and Chris have a couple questions, and it should wait till the end. Just want to place a space holder. All right. Steve, get those questions ready now, because I want to highlight this right here from Planet Arizona. The best stories have characters you can see their perspective. You may not agree with their choices, but you understand why they choose to do what they do. Carly kind of epitomized that whole thing.
Hey, even John Walker was a character like that, to where one moment you hate him, but the next moment you feel for him and you understand him.
Yeah, absolutely. He was a perfect example of that. He's a complete douchebag, still, I think. Like, I mean, but he does have a set of morals, and in the comics he does too. He's just crazy. He's fucking crazy. Like, he'll go off the rails, and he's, as we saw. Anyways, all right. So Steve Bradley, get those questions ready, because we are about to shut down here. This has been a great Friday night with our good friend Justin. Justin, you did it. You made it. You are going to receive your Comic Book Canon alumni jacket
Yes.
that we've never produced and may never produce, but you'll get it because you're an alumnus right now.
I'll take it.
Okay, and we'll anything you want to say, your best part, your best moment during this show.
Oh man,
so many of them. I know you can't even answer. I know.
I personally thoroughly enjoy, Chris, your points that you make and the way you weave your stories. I wanted to tell you that before, and I look forward to those on all your shows. And it's cool to be able to capture this, live with you hanging out and hearing the way you do things. Because the way you explain things, and you're very fair about it, and even the way you're playing the fence when Jeff and I were discussing the song, like I think I try to be like that. I try to take all aspects and different perspectives, while also telling a really good story and trying to make a good point. So I have to say, like, it's all been great. It's all been great for sure. But it's been fun just hanging out with you guys, and I do appreciate you guys having me on here.
Absolutely, we appreciate you being here. Chris should have been a lawyer. Let's get this straight, because he definitely can lay out an argument, and he's very good at that. So I appreciate that you appreciate him. Again, y'all need to sub up No Good Comics down below. The link is down below. And hit him up on the old Instagram too. Did you guys hear my voice crack when I said that? No Good Comics right there on the old Instagram. Please, 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 please. Thank you again, Justin, so much for being here. By the way, Planet Arizona, this is a great show. Thanks to Justin for being a great guest. I've subbed you up. Thanks for doing what you do, guys. You're the best duo on the tube. Do you see that, Chris? That's very nice of Planet Arizona Comics. We appreciate that. Seriously, guys, we absolutely appreciate you being with us each and every week. We love doing this. We will be back again next week with a new guest as well. Chris, any parting words?
Oh man, parting words. Let's see. I'll be having withdrawals until Black Widow comes out.
Hey guys, we have the Bad Batch coming out on May 4th too, by the way.
I know, but so just my final words are, if you guys, are tuning in to the show or my channel, and I'm not looking too well, and I just bear with me, because it's going to be a hard road for these next few weeks without my MCU. So
I'm with you.
Other than that, man, thank you, Justin, for coming along. Like I said early in the show, I love it's been a good few years for you, so I don't want to call you a newbie or anything like that, but hearing your story, coming into the hobby later in your life after your past experience, I truly appreciate that. That is a testament to where we're at in this hobby. I want everyone watching to see that and to know that. Your insight, your energy, and your perspective that you bring into this hobby, and especially the idea of community building, I absolutely love that. So thank you for bringing that to Comic Book Canon tonight. And again, thank you to the chat so much, man. Oh, and I did take note of everyone that was here. If you didn't comment, you're not getting picked, because I don't know that you're here. So if you're ghosting, if you're like, just
working,
so everyone that commented in the chat, I noted down. I'll get your names over to Jeff, and we're gonna do the drawing for that prize next week. It's gonna be you guys, because you guys are showing up. But here's the thing: you got to show up next week. Announce your name next week. You're not here. It's going to someone else again.
That's if this person does not Lena Labrie does not come in by Friday, and if she doesn't or he doesn't, we're drawing a new winner for the third time, Chris. Anyways, we can't complain. Thank y'all so much for being here. We'll be back again next week, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Again, give us your fresh gets each and every week. You guys all have a great week as well. Be safe, be kind, and just keep being you. We'll see you again next week. Peace.